Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantel Francis, here with Miss Mansa to talk about episode 13, 14, 15, and 16 of Love Island Games Season 1. Miss Mansa, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in like a week. What's been going on?
And it has been a week. Oh my God. I can't wait to get into it because so much happened this week and I have just been like riding the roller coaster of emotions.
I'm like just wanting to talk about it, but you're like, I can't talk about it yet.
I was talking to my sister about it, trying to like explain to her the importance of these moments. She's like, you are out of your mind. I was just like, I need someone who cares to listen to me.
I know, right? You know what? There's a lot of us who actually really care. And, I'm happy to be an outlet there for you. For
Thank
sure.
you.
So back on, I guess it was Tuesday, we are kind of where they're making the decision between the bottom three couples, and the boys are going to choose the boy to stay, and and the girls are choosing the girls to stay, right? That's what was happening. And it was between, who was between? Carrington and Ray and Jack, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the girls was Courtney, Kira, and Jess, correct?
Yeah.
It's so long ago. I'm like, Kira was on the show?
Right? I know. It was just the beginning of the week, but I'm like, who? Kira whom?
Right? I don't remember who it was at all. Okay, so what ended up happening is they sent home Carrington and Kira, who were pursuing something with each other. So what did you think about their decisions to send those two home? And what did you think about Johnny's tears?
I was confused by Johnny's tears, as I am with almost everything that Johnny does. But like thinking about it later, I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess he's your homie. You guys were on the same season together. You were excited for him to be here. And I feel like maybe he was like, this is a number for me. I mean, I'm trying to justify it. The tears were crazy. He was there for 24 hours.
I know we're not coming down on men crying, especially masculine men crying.
You know what? We love to see it. Express those feelings. It's better that you let them out rather than take them out on us. So.
It's just that I don't know if I felt that they were real. Or I was just like, like
no, 100% crocodile tears. 100%.
That's where the problem was, not him expressing his emotions. That I just thought
it was very performative. Absolutely,
performative, for sure. Kieran and Carrington do make a speech, and they're both kind of like, "Don't be sad. It's okay. Don't be sad." And I guess that's also one of the reasons why I don't care about Kira is she just doesn't care enough, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's not super bold in her decision making. She's just so passive, in my opinion, about everything that goes on. That I'm just
what I think? That's her personality. She grew up in a musical family. She's just very like hippy dippy, go with the flow. Like, I'm just here living, man. If I'm not here, I guess I'm at home. Like,
I guess, and maybe as a friend, I'd like that, but on my TV, I'm just like, she just is just
you're like, you're giving me nothing. Go home.
Yeah, and also, I'm not a big fan of Carrington, so they both could go. Was this that you wanted to go, or did you think someone else should have maybe gone?
You know what? I wanted them to go for those same reasons. I find them boring and I did not care about them. But I was expecting for Jess and Ray to go just because like Jess at that point had been given so many chances. And like, I mean, as much as Imani and Ray have a good connection, it did feel at that point like there was something kind of missing for them, or like that they weren't really on the same page. As we see, they still aren't. But so I thought that was a possibility that Ray might go.
One thing that I did learn from listening to, I believe either Sally or Justine's recap, was so they picked numbers to determine what order they would choose their outfits for that heart race challenge. And then that was actually the same order that they performed in. Mm-hmm. So Jess getting that not so cute, like lifeguard or whatever outfit that was lifeguards? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, she was a lifeguard. Mm-hmm.
It was because she was literally the last person to go and had very few options to choose from. And then also, so Justine and Jess were the last two couples to go. And so there was like a 3-hour break before them because it started raining. And so they were kind of all separated. It was raining. And so like they definitely weren't able to be in that energy and that vibe with everybody being all excited
and
about,
capitalize on the momentum.
right?
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like they were starting from the beginning again, and people were kind of like over it and not really, their heart rate wasn't really getting up anymore. So and it
Mhm.
just was interesting that the last two couples were definitely in the bottom. I didn't think that Justine, like just her coming out in that white outfit on its own should have been enough to spike some heart rate.
Exactly.
But
I mean, her twerking on Callum upside down, like that should have been enough.
right?
Yes.
So yes, I think it was the fact that they had that little bit of a hiatus, and then they had to come back in like after they've been doing this for like 7 hours. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
like a twerk might just be like, okay, seen enough.
He's like,
So,
I've had so many twerks tonight.
and then
Here's
I had a
another.
break. I got to relax between my last two twerks. Like, yeah. Jaquan is here. He's commenting on Johnny's tears, calling them thug tears. Jaquan,
Oh my gosh.
choosing violence always. Hi, Nicole.
Hello.
Danita says, hey, ladies, happy Love Island Games recap day. Yes, yes.
Let's do it.
So Jennifer Ruby here is saying, Kira's probably very lovely to be friends with, but she just doesn't make great TV. Exactly.
Yeah.
She's so pretty. And she gets cast on all these shows. So she must have something in person that
Mhm.
is captivating, but it hasn't been translating for me.
Yeah.
It just hasn't. Also, it was Justine in the bottom three. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Justine.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with it's so long ago. I'm getting confused.
It's
but you're
funny
right, yes.
because like it was what, Tuesday, and it just I think the heightened emotions of all the subsequent episodes, I've just like repressed the memory of Tuesday.
Right? Oh my god, it's so long. I'm like looking at my notes because like I was in a hotel room when I was doing it, so I have it like on like a little paper, and I'm like, what did I write here? What happened? Okay, Kira leaving in a hot outfit. Okay, so Kira left in a hot outfit. So then I was like, oh yeah, it was the heart rate challenge. So it's triggering things for me.
Yeah.
So Mike and Imani are talking. Were they coupled up now? Wait, what happened?
Yeah, this is when they're coupled up, and I think this was towards like after the heart rate challenge, when I think Mike starts to realize that, okay, I see the way that you and Ray were communicating through your looks and the way that you're reacting to each other's dances. Like, I really don't have a shot here. Like, I'm bowing out respectfully.
Absolutely. He says that like, if you can give him that look and he's wearing that elf contest outfit, I can't win here.
Exactly.
Like, you still got eyes for him in that costume. I can't compete. And so she was really it seemed very excited that he was just like letting her kind of go easily so she can go back where her heart is, go back to Ray without it being too much of a fight or a drama. So she seemed relieved big time. Okay, so was there another text? Like International Heart Rate Challenge, #1 power couple Liberty gets a text. Oh,
yes.
Right. They get a text.
I love that Liberty and Callum won that, by the way. Because, you know, I'm secretly rooting for them. Well, not so secretly rooting for them. I really believe that they had such great chemistry. And if Callum just kind of got out of his head, they could have been it. So I was hoping when they got that text about the Hideaway that we were going to see something juicy.
Hideaway. I mean, you know, I thought that they were probably the most shocking because I'm just like, whoa, like Liberty, like, oh my gosh. And so, yeah, I was happy that they won that challenge as well. And I think also all the Islanders were really happy for them too.
Yeah.
So they go into the Hideaway. So you're expecting them to get out those whips.
I mean, Liberty looked so good. I think that was maybe the best she's looked the entire season. That blue, like little lingerie outfit, her little like, you know, nude face, look, feet, whatever. I was like, okay. I was like, I see this for her.
I have to agree. I really, really like Liberty's face when it's like made up, but like very natural.
Yeah.
Like I love a bold lip. Like I love like outgoing makeup. Like I do like that in general, but there's something about it on Liberty with just like in that blue thing. She just looks so, I thought she looked so pretty.
Absolutely. She looked angelic. I was just like, Callum, come on, give us what we want.
Give us what we want. So all the girls are helping Liberty get ready. And I was like, ooh, that baby blue bodysuit. So yes, we both were feeling it. And I was like, this is so awkward. Oh, well, yeah, watching Callum and Liberty walk to the Hideaway. It is a weird moment that they're creating on this show.
Oh, yeah. And then how everyone like claps them in, like it's like a medieval times kind of wedding. They're like, she's off to go break her maidenhead.
Removal of the chastity belt.
Yes.
Does you have the keys, Sir Callum? Yeah, it actually is really funny. So we see as soon as Liberty gets in there, she's jumping on the bed and they're making a toast, and then Callum gets a text. And so they get the opportunity to mix up the couples, #couple shuffle. And they say it's going to be carnage. Now, what do you think about this Hideaway couple twist?
I mean, that was crazy. That was the craziest twist that I don't think that anyone was expecting. I thought it was so funny for that power to have gone to the two of them specifically, because Liberty is like so like sweet and innocent, and Callum is just kind of like, he's playing this kind of himbo character. Oh, you know what? That's probably him. Let me give him more credit. That is who he is.
It might be who he is. He's mellowed out, though. He's mellowed
out. 100%. In the very beginning of the season, I was like, I don't know how much of this man I can stand on the screen. But now I'm like, oh, Callum. Like, he's so cute.
Hi, Miss T-Joy.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think, yeah, he definitely has mellowed out, and I was totally with you being like, oh my God, like, how does this guy get cast? Like, he's so annoying, and like, he's not the type that like gets girls and gets the relationship in that way, because he's just too, in my opinion, too much.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like, so
but he
like,
grows on you, like he's growing on us, like a fungus.
Like a fungus. Like, I'd rather him than like the Kira vibe, right? Like,
yeah.
So, you know. So, okay, so what do you think would have been the best strategy for them to be recoupling these couples?
Well, I mean, if this is a game about like who has the most power and getting rid of the weakest teams, like I would try to, or I mean, I would go for my competition and try to weaken them and put them in a position to leave as soon as possible, like, you know, to make them vulnerable. So I would have targeted kind of Imani, because she has won so many challenges up to this point, and then Johnny as well. And I would have paired them with people that we think that they wouldn't really work well with, or like wouldn't communicate with, and that way they would kind of almost eliminate themselves. So I would have used that power kind of in that strategic way.
And if you were Liberty, who would you put yourself with?
Ooh, if I was Liberty, I mean, I kind of understand the decision that she made. I would have chosen Jack too, right? Because even though he hasn't won that many, you know what? Actually, no, I take that back. I think that Liberty and Callum should have stayed together, because they actually had really good chemistry. And even though they were vulnerable a couple of times, I think they worked really well together. They communicated together. So I think they should have stayed together and weakened all the other teams.
I 100% agree with them staying together. Was like, they stay strong, so they don't have to create a new dynamic, a new working relationship. Like, they already understand each other's vibes and like how to communicate with each other. So them staying together would be an advantage. And if everybody else had to relearn their working relationship in these competitions with someone else, that's going to weaken them no matter what. Even if they are super strong, if they haven't worked with somebody yet, it doesn't mean that they're going to be able to execute. So I definitely would have kept together, like me and Callum, and then everybody else would be shuffled up 100%. So while they're in the Hideaway, Imani pulls Ray for a chat, and she really likes him, and they want to lock it in. They're locking it in. They hug, and she's very happy.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that they hadn't locked it in earlier, because it was very clear to me, I mean, at least from Ray's side, that he's been locked in on Imani since day one. And the fact that they keep saying they're open, like, for what? Like, you're not open. So I'm glad that they just expressed what we all knew, is that you're not really open.
Well, and I think it's because in this society we're in right now, it's kind of like you kind of want to wait for the guy to say that they're locked in, because like the girl kind of chasing, sometimes it makes the guys retreat and push back. So I can understand her being like, we're still open, and like kind of her being like, if you don't want us to be open, Ray, say something. And then, but he just doesn't say anything. He just like pouts, right? So I think that she is starting to read him and understand him a little bit better, and is like, okay, I realize he's not going to say this. Let me take the lead here and be like, listen, I like you. I want to be with you. And so just to open that door for him to be like, let's lock this in. So they're just young. I got to remember, they're very young.
True. I keep forgetting. Imani's what, 22?
Yeah, 22 is very young. Like, I'm still wild now. I was very wild when I was 22.
Oh no, it's funny because I was out last night with some friends and there was a 22-year-old girl that came just like drunk and like in our space and was complaining about her boyfriend and this and that. She's like, she was so mad. And she's like, and he said if I talk to somebody else, then we are done. And then she's like, how old do you think I am? I was like, 22. And I was like, I can see it on your face. The drunkenness, the conversation we're having, you are 22, 100%.
Was she shocked that you could guess?
Yeah.
Born in the 2001.
Yeah. Oh my God. Woo. Let's not talk about that. That's
like, I know, it's really very startling. All right, so everybody's getting ready for bed. We see the power couple in the hideaway putting the couples together. They have all the faces, so they're kind of like rearranging everything. And then in the nighttime, we see Imani sneak over and give Ray a little smoochy smooch.
That was cute. I liked that.
Run back to her bed. Me too. What I think is hilarious about Love Island is this whole like you have to sleep with your new couple. And
the thing is that we haven't seen yet anyway in this season like couples who are locked in with each other but paired with other people sleeping outside. On the traditional season we see that a lot more, like when they get to that point where they're fully committed and then someone else steals them, they'll just go take the blankets and go outside. And so I thought that
see it at the end of the last episode or the middle of the last episode. Jack and Justine did sleep outside.
So yeah, they do, but I think what is it? Not last night's episode, but the one before. Jack and Justine, they finally sleep outside. But I mean, this would have been a perfect moment for Imani and Ray to do the same,
right? Why did you do that?
Why are you sneaking kisses? Let's go sleep outside.
I mean, I guess maybe they do ask the producer, or maybe it was raining, or maybe it was cold. True. But like, I agree. Sleep outside. I think it's kind of romantic, being like, we want to be together, and we're being kept apart by your beds, so we're gonna sleep outside. So dramatic. Get out there. So in the morning, the girls are getting ready. They're wondering where Liberty is. They haven't really been doing the girls' chats in the same way. How are you feeling about it just being like them getting ready in the change room? The guys sometimes do some chats, but they usually go straight to the kitchen. We don't see those morning chats anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I do like this. I like that it feels a bit more organic and we see them getting ready and they kind of talk about their situations, but it feels less like, we're all forced to sit in these groups upstairs and then go one by one and be like, this is my situation. This is your situation. I actually do like this way of like having that catch up because it just feels more authentic.
It does feel more authentic. So the power couple return and they've decided that they're not going to tell anybody that they got a text. I don't even have to prompt you. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because I'm like, the fact that these two dopes like really thought that they could pull off this scheme, like I had zero faith in them.
Zero. I thought that like they come back with that intention and like immediately be like, oh guys, I can't keep it. Like, yeah, we got a text. Like I thought that you just blow it immediately.
Yeah.
So the boys do have a little bit of a chat and they ask him, I think it was Johnny, probably Johnny, did you get a text? And he's like, oh, no. And Callum thinks he gave an Oscar-winning performance.
I was like, Oscar where? I can see it on your face.
Like, I don't think that he sold that story at all. Liberty goes and chats with the girls. And then Maura and Kem arrive. Do you remember Kem?
Of course. How can you not? Chris and Kem, the iconic bromance of Love Island history. I don't think there's ever been a better bromance than the two of them, like writing rap songs together. Remember when Stormzy came and like rapped with them?
But it's funny. Like I do remember them rapping and having their own like rap, like whatever release song track, whatever after the season. But I remember them shaving each other's pubic hair.
You know what? I actually repressed that memory.
I think it was Into the Shape of a Heart, if I'm not mistaken. That's what my go-to memory of those two.
No, I loved them, and just like the way that the two of them were always around each other. Like if they were with their girls, they were just like it felt so like honest and pure, and just I don't know, yeah, loved it.
So Rachel hates the morning chats. The random chats feel a little bit more old school. Yeah, I can see it feeling a little bit more old school.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what about the old school that I miss?
Oh, is their initials, right? Okay, thank you. I guess we're past half of that memory.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say, bring back the smoking section. I know we're like not supposed to smoke smoking anymore, blah blah blah. But the smoking section for me in the older seasons was where all the best stuff went down, all the best conversations, all the drama. Bring it back.
And okay, so do you think anybody still smokes?
Well, I heard on this past season of UK, there were a couple people that smoked, and then Katie vaped. And so I was watching an interview with her afterwards, and she said that they would have to go out front, and then a producer would come with them, like if they wanted to like vape or smoke, but they had to declare in advance if like they were a smoker or a vapor, and if you couldn't like decide later on, like I want to go for a smoke now. So there were a couple I heard.
Oh my god, like I'm not a smoker, but I love a smoke when I have a drink.
Right?
Like,
I know. That's why bring back the smoking section.
If I was on Love Island, I'd go as a smoker though, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Of course. I would be in the smoking section just like listening to all the tea, being like, what? And she did what?
Well, like back in the day, the smokers in the smoking section was where all the fun, cool people were.
Exactly.
And I was always annoyed. Like now I'm happy that I don't smell like smoke from going out to a club or something like that. It's cool. But back then, I used to be like, smokers drink more and they tip more. So like have the non-smokers go to their own club and have their own vibe. Like let's keep the fun, cool people at the club and, like that want to smoke.
Yeah, cool, like, but like probably will be dying soon. But
fine, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I totally get it.
People, James Dean smoked, right? All right, so Maura, the instigator that she is, tells them to tell the group the gossip. And immediately he's like, yeah, we got a text. And they're like, oh, not fooled. And so the power couple was able to recouple all of them. Okay, so what they did was, it was a mess. So they put Imani with Al, and that could be a decent couple, just because they're both pretty athletic, and like Imani's a quite strong competitive. They put,
and then also romantically, I think
he was
Imani was his second choice, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah. And then Selly with Ray, which I would think would be a good choice for them to put together because they're friends. Jess with Mike. It could be okay, only because like he's pretty big and strong and she's quite petite, but like sturdy, so it could work. Courtney he left them with Johnny. What do you think about that?
I thought that was dumb, but I also understand that I think their reasoning was they didn't think that Courtney was going to be good at challenges in the first place. So it was going to balance out Johnny, and they thought that like that was making it kind of fair for everybody else. But yeah, I just don't like Johnny getting anything he wants. He doesn't deserve it.
Is it because like is Callum just scared of him? Like
I don't think he is. I think I was surprised because they were talking about potentially pairing Selly and Johnny, which would have been hilarious. And
they should have done that, obviously, like maximum drama. So Rachel, you're saying yes, Whit confirmed a few times that a few of them smoked or vaped. Like Zach was a smoker. He looks like a smoker. Whit tried to smoke, but because she was bored, but production said no. That's annoying. You should be able to decide you want to be a smoker.
Exactly. I can picture just Whitney out. See, that's why if we had the smoking section, because Whitney would have been me in that smoking section, just like over there hanging out.
Yeah. Instigating. It's where like, all the fun combos usually come out in the smoking section. Justine, what did I put? I put Jack though. I said, uh-oh. Oh, yeah, so I thought they were going to put Justine and Jack together. I was like, oh, okay.
We all did. That moment when they were the two left on the bench and they were so excited and hugging. Like, I felt the same way. I was like, yes, we're keeping them together.
Because it makes no sense for them to break up themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
No sense. And then I was like, haha, uh-oh. Justine and Callum are together, and then Jack and Liberty. Now, I understand Liberty thinking that Jack is like a great partner to have and he's super strong, and same with Justine, but they don't necessarily have chemistry with you guys yet. And so, yes, maybe if it's like a brute strength thing, fine. But if it's something where you have to work with your partner, it might be a challenging one. So I thought this was a very, very poor decision in their recoupling.
Oh, absolutely. That was savage because as well, like they're quite obviously the couple that has the most chemistry. They have the closest relationship. Like they have a real connection that is very obvious to everyone. I think Callum had said earlier in that episode something about like Jack being in love with Justine. So it's like, you know that. And then you said, you know what? Fuck it.
So they're going to be having a couples challenge. It's going to be in 3 separate rounds. Round 1 is going to be, I'm just going to say the one person. So, because I don't remember who they're with. Okay, no. So Sally and Ray versus Jess and Mike. Round 2 is going to be Imani and Ayal versus Liberty and Jack. And then round 3 is Courtney and Johnny versus Justine and Jack, if I got that correct. So the losing couples are going to have each. Did I say Callum?
You said Jack, but Justine and Callum.
Oh, I meant, I guess it's where the heart wants what the heart wants, right? Justine and Callum, correct. Yeah. All right, they're playing She's a Catch. And the girls are dressed up as mermaids. They're doing really well with these challenges, I find. They're just kind of fun and like easy but hard, visually interesting. I was down with this challenge.
Yeah, I liked it. But as soon as I saw the like rotted sea matter, I was like, couldn't be me.
No, really?
No, I can smell the sea, and no, can't do it. I just no, like the smell of like rotting seaweed and crap. I would have lost because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't.
No, you would quit?
Yeah. Oh, well, it depends on how hot my partner was. If I had like a really hot partner, I wouldn't quit.
Exactly. You're like showing that you don't care, but like beauty, you're just gonna go in there. It's so hot, right?
But if they really love me, they would know that like I'm not doing this.
So dreadfully here is saying, my thoughts are that they figured being with Jack and Justine would keep them both safe. Where together they were more of a target or not be saved by the other Islanders. Well, I get that, but separating yourself also gives you both more of a likelihood to both be on the bottom. Yeah. Right? Like if you're together, then you have a likelihood of just your couple being saved, right? But if you're both being separated, there's a higher chance that one of you guys might go home. Yeah. And so I would just want to keep together for that particular reason. Well, and then also the chemistry thing. So the girls are as these mermaids. The guys are dressed up as the sailors. They had to collect these bars, give it to the guys. They put it on this like kind of wobbly platform where the guy has to walk back on a balance beam. It's very Survivor-esque. I was like,
I never watched Survivor, so I don't know what the challenges are like on Survivor.
So on Survivor, they have one similar to this where everybody's doing it individually. They had to spell a word like from the bottom up. So they'll say it's immunity. And so they'll have the blocks on one side and they have to put like the Y down on this platform and then walk back with the rope, keeping it level, and then grab the next letter, the T, and then come back. And so they've done something similar like that in Survivor. And it's definitely a very popular Survivor competition.
It seems like hell. Like the balancing, the coordination, like, ugh.
In Survivor, it's not usually on a balance beam. So that they did up the stakes here on Love Island.
Wow.
So they had to run up and grab these bars and put them in the correct order. The guys kind of have like a legend of the bar, the answer sheet, I guess, so the bar to grab. So Sally's up first and she is having trouble. And I'm just like, I want Sally just to be a little bit stronger competitively. A little it.
I mean, Sally's performing exactly as I thought she would.
It's true.
But at the same time, it's like she's still managing to, like, you know, stay in the middle of the pack. She hasn't really been vulnerable, I think, except for maybe once or twice. Like, she has been, I think, on 4th position for most of them. So even though she's not like a real competitor, she's doing just enough to stay.
Yeah, she's consistently just above the middle.
Yeah.
But Mike is having a hard time staying on the balance beam. So in the end, the winners are Sally and Ray, meaning that Jess and Mike are going to be vulnerable. Next round is Ayal and Imani versus Jack and Liberty. I didn't really write down their whole thing. I just put that Ayal and Imani were the winners. That means Jack and Liberty were the bottom.
Vulnerable.
Lastly, we have Callum and Justine versus Johnny and Courtney. And I was like, oh my God, Johnny sucks twice. Yes. I was so excited that he was bad at this. And you can see his ego start to like get at him because he's like, what? I'm not amazing at everything.
Yeah. And Callum and Justine, they really had that challenge early. And there was a point where I think they had 4 blocks. And if Callum had just stayed and didn't move and like just, or I think it was 3, and didn't try to add that 4th one and just waited down the rest of the game, then I think they would have won. But yeah.
It's exactly what I said. I'm like, it was 3-1. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. I'm like, Callum, you should just hold and see what happens. Cause you probably have like 20 seconds left. Like, don't try to put out another bar. He only has 1. Like, and the Ding Dong did not see the strategy there. He wanted to go for broke as opposed to go for safe. And he knocked it over. And then they were unable to make it back up. And so by that time, Johnny was able to get a couple more on. And so Johnny and Courtney won, which means that also Justine is on the bottom with Callum. So Justine, Jack, Callum, and Liberty all are on the bottom. This is why this was a terrible, terrible decision.
Yes, absolutely. And I love how we see Jack spiraling towards the end of this episode because it was a really stupid decision. And now you're putting this couple, I guess the most romantic couple against each other. Like they're in a position where one might have to leave or the other might have to go. Like, and Callum and Liberty thought that they were going to be saved. But, well, I mean, I kind of see the logic because the other couple was Mike and Jess, right? And I think their assumption was, okay, everyone's just going to vote Mike and Jess out, which did not happen.
I mean, which could, I can see that potentially being the outcome that you could hope for, but none of the rounds have been exactly the same from the round before. So to use that as a reason to it just was such a gamble that I probably wouldn't have taken it. I would have stuck with Callum because it's the safe bet. But they didn't do it. So Justine is obviously frustrated that Jack is also in the bottom. And so she could probably save herself, but is it possible that they can both save both of them? That's where they were both so upset that the chances are one of them is going to be going home.
Yeah. But I loved this scene though, as much as it was hell for them. I loved seeing Jack spiraling over the fact that he might have to leave and not be with her. I'm like, yes, this is the energy I wanted to see. Yes. Tell me why you like her.
Yes. And then we see Liberty and Callum talking, and he was talking about how Jack is fuming, and Callum is like, oh, I just wanted this for to be safe. And it's like, well,
you
chose wrong.
Clearly. Yeah.
You chose wrong. Well, I think that was the end of episode 13 on to episode 14, where Jack is still pissed. And he's just saying to Callum, F fair. Why are you making a fair distribution of couples? You don't need to be fair here. And it's do you understand how effed I am, bro?
He's either I'm going home or she's going home.
So brutal. But then we see 6 more All-Stars on their way. So from Australia, we have Tina, Zeta from the US. We got Deb from the US, Scott from the US and the UK, Mitch from the Australia, and Aurelia. Is that it?
Aurelia, yeah.
Aurelia, yes. I was thinking, I'm like, I don't remember it like Aurelia, but it's Aurelia. Okay. Aurelia from Germany are entering the villa. Are you familiar with any of these people that are not from US or UK?
Yes, I'm familiar with all of them except for Aurelia. I haven't seen the German show, but I watched both Tina and Mitch's, both of their seasons of Australia, and also every season Scott's been this summer.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna get to Scott a little bit later in the episode, I'm sure, or this.
Yeah.
But like, do you find him to be the bee's knees? Like, everybody thinks he's so hot. He's such a cat. Like,
you know what? I really did on his first season. On his first season, I saw the vision. I was there for the Scatherine Hive. I was like, I loved all of his one-liners. I loved his takedown of Leah at movie night. Like, I was like, yes, Scott, get him again. When he like came for Mitch, like during those like awards, like I was like, okay, I love it. I'm here for Scott. And then when he came on to US originally, I was like, oh, Scott, what are you doing here? And I was excited. But now I am tired. Scott, go home.
Yeah. I mean, I could see like being on the Scott bandwagon this first season. Yeah. I wasn't, because like, I mean, in the beginning, like I loved seeing him interacting with Catherine and like thinking that they had a little flirtmancing going on. Mm-hmm. But then I guess when Fiat 500 started coming for Catherine and then pumping up Scott, even though we didn't see everything that was going on, we didn't see all the reasons why she decided to jump and move on. I forget the other guy's name at this moment.
And so has she.
What is his name?
Callum.
Callum looks like Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince.
He really does.
And so I understood when I saw all like the deep dives and like when she came out of the villa, like what had kind of happened, and then just how she was just vilified and he was just like put up on this pedestal. It just made me not appreciate him as much anymore. And I'm just like, I'm sick of him. We don't actually like him. It's just because he got propped up by this whole group of people that were anti-Catherine. And so, yeah, I haven't been a fan of his since basically that recoupling. I was like,
all right.
But, yeah, do you think this is going to be his last show? No, he's going to be on Love Island All-Stars. Sorry.
No, he's not.
I think he is.
No, he's not.
I think he is.
No, Chad, he's not.
Chad,
I really can't take it. Please
tell me, Chad. Oh my god,
who do we have to write to? Because I can't do it.
I think he's going to be on it as well. Chad, let me know. I think I'm right here.
Please, someone pull up the cast. I can't have that be true.
I think it's true.
Because you know what? It's not only that I'm tired. We see it, and we'll talk about it. Like, I feel like he's tired of this. Like, how many times can you say, like, oh, I want someone who gives me a little bit back? Like,
yeah. I just see someone new. And, you know, he's obviously not great at finding connections, right? Yeah. Like, hopefully with all these experiences, like he would have found like a girlfriend for 6 months.
I mean, you can't knock it though, right? Like if someone puts a check in front of you and says, we're going to pay you a bunch of money 100%. To like live on a villa with a bunch of hot people all 100%. Summer, you'd be like, done. Like I would do.
100%. I'm just saying as a viewer, I wish they stopped offering the check.
Exactly.
Like, please. Like I would rather Johnny get the checks.
Because you know what though, at least because he's giving us something, right? Johnny is giving us entertainment. I mean, he is a monster. But he's great. Like he's working for his money. Like we're not getting a lot of return on investment with Scott.
So Prashay says he's not. They put out the OG cast and he's not there so far. He wasn't part of this OG cast. So
I saw they're bringing Ovi back. Finally, the streets have been crying for him.
Ovi, oh my god, he's so handsome.
I mean, he's
Aquarius. I love Aquarius.
Man. No, not you stroking your hair like Ovi.
He's so tall.
And he had great style.
Yes.
And he was so funny.
So cool.
And I loved his relationship with Amber, how they were just like the best of friends.
I know. I wish that she actually liked him in that
Yeah.
way, because like I would have loved them to have a little bit more. I did you watch? They had like a Where Are They Now type show, and
Oh, no, I
like
missed that.
and so it was like you saw her go and visit Ovi, and he's like playing basketball, and like they still have their friendship, whatever.
That's cute.
So yeah. Danita's not the biggest Scott fan, but messy commentary was great on the Carnival episode. That's what I'm saying. We'll get to Scott, but up at this point, I was like, I roll. I don't need to see him on this show too. Thank you. So everybody is super excited that these new bombshells are here, and immediately they get into it. They're just like, Deb, kiss your top 3 contenders. So she just kisses Callum, Jack, and Mike. Were you surprised by any of these 3?
I was surprised that she kissed Callum. I'm surprised that anyone would want to kiss Callum, but
he's
otherwise,
is a hot body, so maybe before he talks.
Exactly. It was still very early. He hadn't spoken yet.
Oh, do you want to know what the difference between Love Island Games and All Stars is? I think All Stars is regular format, but with couple like people that we've seen before from different franchises, I believe, right? Or is it all just UK?
I think it's only UK, from what I understand.
So previous Love Island UK contestants, doing the regular format,
getting a second chance.
Second chance at love. Now that they all have 1 million subscribers and followers, how are they different? So Scott, he kisses Selly, Imani, and Courtney. I was like, okay, Scott. He doesn't have any lips.
No, was it Imani and Courtney? I thought he's and Justine. Selly, Justine, because I remember he goes back to back, just Selly to Justine, and
why
then
did I write Courtney?
I don't know.
Want to verify? Did I make a mistake, chat? Let me know. So yeah, well, anyway, Selly, I thought was like, okay, and then Imani, like, I was like,
they've been there before.
Maybe he does like black girls, like maybe.
I think he does. I think he has a type. But I mean, him and Imani, they had their little like brief little thing at the very beginning of him on the USA season when he popped in.
Okay, so Mary said no, it was Imani, not Justine.
Oh, okay, well, there we go.
Because yeah, I was like, I don't think I was tired when I watched this, so I'm like, I think I would have written it down correctly.
Okay.
But I was still like, okay, Scott, getting the people with all the lips. So Zeta kisses Mike, Callum. I was like, Zeta, what's happening here? And
Crazy.
Jack, makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I expected everyone to kiss Jack. I mean, I think we all would kiss Jack.
Are you still playing with your hair for Jack?
Yeah, I love him. I mean, I'm obviously him and Justine really glad that you guys are in love or whatever. But like, if that ever is done,
it's like, hello, you want to be my sugar baby? I guess. What are male sugar babies called? Something different?
Do they have a different name? No, I think it's gender neutral.
Okay,
sugar baby applies to all.
Shit, I keep on fucking up her name. Aurelia chooses Jack, Johnny, and I wrote be good. Why did I say that?
Johnny be good? Oh, because he says he's trying to be good. And I was like, okay.
And Mike. And so I was like, okay, look, like she chose some hot guys. Like she has some good taste. Because and to me, she doesn't specifically look like how I think of someone from Germany looking. She looks a little bit more. I mean, I guess she could be from any background, but like I would think of her more as just from somewhere else, like maybe Latina or maybe Middle Eastern. I wouldn't automatically go
like
German. Greek even,
Turkish.
absolutely. But maybe she is all of the above, but is from Germany. So like that could.
I think they have other races there.
I know that they do, but when I just look at her, I would think that she was born in another country. So the people that won the show were Mitch and Tina. So Mitch goes next, kisses Selly, Justine, and Liberty.
Oh, that's who kissed them back to back. Mm-hmm.
With like Sally and Justine.
Yeah, because I was like, I remember there being a back to back.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And then Tina kisses Jack, Mike, and Scott. Wait, Scott was part of the I guess you can kiss anybody, but
yeah, I remember being surprised by that, because normally we don't ever see the Bombshells like hooking up with anyone that they come in with or even trying to kiss them on the first night. They're always so focused on the OG Islanders, which I think makes sense, because if you've come in with someone new, all of these people have allegiances. So you should really pair up with someone who's been there for a long time, because obviously they just want to kick off the people that they don't know.
Yes, and I think that Justine was even saying that, the Bombshells, it's better for them to hook up with somebody that's an OG or has been in the villa for a while, because it's going to be less likely for the OGs just to be like, let's just dump all the new people. Let's get rid of the new people.
Absolutely.
So after the game, so which season was Mitch and Tina on? I think I saw them win. Were they season
Mitch
2?
and Tina won season 3.
3.
And then they were both brought back as Bombshells in season 4. Which is Callum and Jesse's season.
Is the most recent season, correct?
Well, there's a season 5 airing right now. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so I watched in its entirety Mitch and Tina's season.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started watching like the first few episodes of 4, because I knew who Jess was, but I don't know if I remember Callum. Maybe I do. I don't know. But like, I feel like it was a short-lived, like I just didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I got kind of bored when they started that weird twist thing, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, so they brought Mitch in as a bombshell. He had, I think, started making connections with 1 or 2 girls, and then like 2 days later they brought in Tina. I was like, why would you do that?
Well, and that's the thing that I don't appreciate about the US version. I think that the UK version is a little bit better with their timing of the Bombshells or timing of like the dumpings, generally speaking, because like I feel like the US thinks that the dumping is what gets the ratings.
Yeah.
But it only gets ratings if we care about the couple.
Exactly.
And so they don't get the formula.
Mm-hmm. It's just everything is too condensed. And that's why it doesn't hit the same way, right? It's like, we need the time to care about these people. We need to like want to like cheer for them, see them build these relationships, and actually like be invested in the stakes when a bombshell comes in, because you're like, no, I don't want this bombshell to go for this person because I've been seeing them building connection. And then when it comes to, recouplings, like we're on the edge of our seats, like what are they going to do? Is this couple that was growing now going to be separated? But in the US, because it's such a shorter production season, everything happens so quickly. I'm just like, I don't care.
So people had been telling Callum that Deb would be his type, so he pulls her for a chat. What do you think about this duo? Are you a Deb fan?
I am a Deb fan. I really did like her on her season. I love her kind of like goofy, like playful, like energy. I do hate that eye mask that she wears to bed, though. It's terrifying.
Did you believe in her relationship with Jesse?
No, never.
Okay,
never. But I think for me, when I was watching it, I felt like it was more of like a Jesse thing. Like I just didn't really buy his energy. I didn't really get that he like really was like into her like that.
I totally agree. We talked about that season as we're just like, I don't think that he likes her at all, like, or his sister type, or like maybe is that kind of like sexual. Like it just seemed he seemed more asexual than into Deb or into like, having sexual relations with anybody on the season. He didn't give that off to me at all. And so I was frustrated that like we had to like watch her pursuing this person, like, and then they even tried it outside the villa, right?
Yeah, I think they did.
And so I was like, I didn't really see that going anywhere. So yes, Callum and Deb. I mean, I think this is an okay duo.
Well, I don't think so. I don't see the chemistry that I saw with him and Liberty. Like, I know he's attracted to Deb physically, but in terms of the vibes in their chats, like I really saw it more between him and Liberty than I do between him and Deb, even though they're constantly kissing each other's faces off. Like, I'm not buying it.
I mean, I'm not necessarily a Deb fan, and neither is Rachel here, even less since her after her Destiny comments. What happened with Destiny? Hold on, because I remember Destiny, didn't she say that she was going to sue the production, or she has?
Oh, did she? I didn't hear about that.
Mad. Wait, hold on, not Destiny. Okay, I'm thinking of the girl from her season. What was her name? And she's saying that the producers on Zeta's season, like, remember that she?
Oh, the one that came in with
Serenity. Sorry, that's
brother.
Serenity. No, Serenity was really mad at production because they were keeping her from actually making connections and stuff like that. And so that was a completely different scenario. Sorry, and I'm just thinking that that's what Rachel's talking about.
Yeah.
But Destiny was from last season.
Exactly, yeah. She was the scientist one.
Right. Very cute. Just had more chemistry with Serenity. Were they in the same season?
Yeah, they were. I mean, but Serenity left so early, and I think that's what.
Right. It was in the very beginning. As agreed, questioning her degree was mean. Oh, okay. Tell me more. Can you give us some deets? Some deets. I guess like saying that Serenity or that Destiny wasn't.
Was she a microbiologist or something
like that? Well, no, microbiology was Imani.
Okay.
She was physicist. What is she?
I'm looking it up.
She tried to say Destiny wasn't a real scientist. Okay.
Oh.
Serenity is suing. Yes, thank you. Sorry, Prochet. Yes, I was mixing up the scandals. Okay, so Deb questioned Destiny's profession and not in a nice way on After the Island. Okay. I can see that very, very easily. So the three bottom couples are going to be joining my Jama here, who enters. She knows how to walk into.
I'm so happy she's back. I just love looking at her. Every time she walks in, I'm like, yes.
You know, I'm always looking to see if Johnny's like trying to like put the moves on her. I'm like, does Johnny think he has a shot with my Jama?
Can you imagine?
Yes, I wanted to see him try to run game. I don't think he'd do a good job, but it'd be nice to see him try.
Yeah.
So one couple is going to be saved by the three couples that were actually saved from this competition. Now, I thought the timing of this was a little bit weird. They just brought these 6 new people in that have nothing to do with what just happened. And so now they have to watch the other 3 couples like deliberate, and they're just sitting there and having nothing to do with it. I thought that it might have been more interesting if maybe they had to talk to each of the people that were vulnerable or each of the people that were safe, and like they were the one that makes the decision or something. Like that could have been more interesting. I don't know, but like I don't know why they brought them in for them to just sit and watch this scenario.
Yeah, it felt very confusing because it happened too quickly. Yeah, to your point, they weren't there for long enough, and then they weren't involved in the deliberations.
Like, yeah, they're just sitting there like nothing to do with me. So Ayal suggests, okay, so they were kind of going back and forth. Everybody has the people that they want to save. Ayal obviously doesn't want, wait, who's at the bottom again? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, so those couple, like everybody that we want to stay other than Jess and Mike, they can go. But
honestly, Jess and Mike could have gone.
So Ayal suggests saving Mike and Jess. And I was like, Ayal, you are choosing violence. Like, I know you just got to throw this out there, but like, if we go with this, I will be forever angry at Ayal.
But I mean, I kind of get his point though. He's like, I'm writing for Jack, you're writing for Justine. He's like, fine, none of us get what we want then.
No, someone has to get what they want, and to give them both a chance, right? Like, if we want both Justine and Jack to stay in the villa, the chance that they can get them both to say is to save one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like,
because as well, you don't know what the duel is yet, so we don't know,
or if something else is going to happen. Maybe like who knows? It's a new season, so like you have no idea what the producers might decide to do for them. So making it for sure that it's going to be your 2 favorites going against each other and leave it to a vote, when you could actually save someone and still leave it to a vote against a couple that they might win against. So. I was like, Ayal, zip it. So Ayal does end up standing up and saying that it did come down to a vote, but they were going to be saving Justine and Callum. I thought that Sally was going to win this batch for sure.
I mean, the way that she came out of the gate, like, Justine, like no one else, only Justine.
Like she's like, I ride hard for Justine. I'm not gonna really let anything else be different. Al,
that's my girl. Period.
Right? Exactly. Wait. Al was playing mind games with Johnny. You think? Is Appreciate isn't also Imani a microbiologist?
Do they both do? I mean, Black women in STEM. We love to see it.
I think they both might be, to be honest. Anyway, sorry, I'm just like thinking now. Nicole's also saying, according to Justine and Sally, he's chatting shit when mentioning saving Mike and Jess. Oh, maybe to see if Johnny would bite and jump on it to try to get out like an OG, you know? To see, whereas if he'd be like, yeah, we should do that, so they can know not to trust him. Okay, Al, try to make me mad. So, yes, like Justine is like upset because she realized that Jack is still like potentially up for elimination, and Callum is like, oh my god, this is all my doing, and I'm like, yeah, actually,
yeah, it absolutely was.
Yeah, check. you
Did
got
you
that
see,
right.
like that moment when Justine and Callum were announced safe? She goes over and she hugs Jack, and Jack is just grilling Callum, just staring him down like, you did this. It's so funny.
So good though. Good drama.
Yeah.
Good drama. So there will be a duel, and the duel is going to be Jack versus Mike, and then Jess versus Liberty. They're each going to be going head to head. We don't know what the duels are going to be. Are you happy that they're going head to head, or did you want them to potentially be going as a couple? As a
I like head to head. I like that we are able to kind of, no matter who, like one person gets to win, and it doesn't have to be a couple automatically. And I like that, those stakes better than the head to head.
So the boys have a little bit of a chat. They're all kind of just embracing what has gone down. Girls chat. Liberty feels really bad. Like, well, you should have felt bad. You should feel bad, Liberty.
You did this.
You did this. Because I do think that her and Callum would have done well in that challenge, right? Because she's pretty strong to pull herself up that slope thing. And he did do well with Justine, like on like the actual balance beat part and like the stacking. So they may have beaten whoever they would have gone against if they had stayed together. So bad choice. Jack and Justine are obviously chatting again, kind of frustrated and annoying, but he's getting into gay mode. He's gonna take Mike's head off. Oh, you're into it.
He's like, you're gonna do what?
She's like, I'm not ready to be here without you. I'm like, you guys are like, this is giving star-crossed lovers. Like,
honestly, this is cinema. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see.
So good. And if they broke them up earlier on, like we never would have been getting this, you know? And so I just love when they just allow people to naturally fall for each other, or at least a little bit, you know, enough for me to believe it. So,
but to be fair though, it's like, because they have been together from the first day, that this connection has been allowed to grow for this long, right? It's like, this is what now 2, 3, or almost 3 weeks in, and so we see that like they have a real connection. But all the other couples that, you know, have been swapped, they haven't had that chance for it to grow, and the season's almost over. So this is why I feel like we need the US seasons to be longer if we want to really believe in these couples.
100%, and give like the Bombshells a chance.
Yeah,
like it's very hard for them to come in and make a connection, or a connection that's better than the connection that these people are already in. And so if it was a longer season and they stayed in the villa for longer before they're broken up and sent out, like we might see a little more drama because they would find more connections.
Yeah.
Snow Cole says Imani is studying something in the scientific field, not working it yet. Okay, actually, you know what? I think she has a master's in macro or whatever it was. The same thing. Microbiology. I think she has a master's in that. That's what I think it is, not working in the field. All right, we got to the bottom of it. All right, so they're all getting ready for bed, because in the morning it's the duel. Okay, how do you feel about Ian Sterling?
I love him. I love him, and I feel like he's gotten funnier this season.
I think he's hilarious. And like I've been watching from like before the US decided to pick it up, right?
Mhm.
And so I see a lot of comments like from the US watchers that they hate him and they don't think he's funny. And I'm like, but he is part of the show.
He is the show. How dare you?
Right? And like when it was Matthew Hoffman, I was like, this guy, it doesn't have the same ring.
They weren't able to do it well. And I think there was an announcer in Australia as well that was trying to do something similar. It's like you don't get the delicate balance of like roasting and puns. Like they were, what was it with Matt Hoffman? He was a bit too sarcastic and mean. It was like a little bit too far. And I was like, Ian feels like he's in on the joke, you know? And that's what I love about it. And he's invested in these romances. I mean, in the earlier seasons, of the UK show when him and Caroline would do those like kind of after sun catch up, you would see he had like real opinions. He's like, he is a part of the show. Don't come for Ian.
I know. And this is the thing too, is that like, I don't know if I would enjoy the show as much if it didn't have him and his commentary.
Yeah. When they brought him over to the US, I was so excited because his commentary makes a big difference for me anyway.
I agree, but a lot of people from the US do not agree. But
I mean, they also don't understand the British accent, which is crazy to me.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
I'm like British, up and down TikTok, and people are posting clips from the show, and there's all these Americans in the chat being like, "Oh, like, sorry, what did he say? I didn't get it." I'm like, "What? What do you mean you can't understand the accent? They're speaking English."
Yes, the Queen's English, mind you. Like, I mean. But I've been fortunate enough. Like my dad's from England. All my cousins are from England. I used to visit England when I was young. I can do a pretty good English accent. So like, I get the humor, and I watch a lot of British television and stuff like that. So maybe that's the difference. Is that just like I'm accustomed to their style of banter and their jokes and their humor in general. So maybe that's why. But man, I love Ian Sterling.
I love him. Yeah, justice for Ian.
Justice for Ian for sure. He deserves his paycheck, I think. Hi, Sans. Thanks for being here. Destiny has a master's. Imani has is okay. Whatever. Fine. They're both in microbiology. One is practicing and working.
Either way, last minute STEM. Good for us.
Mary says it took me a minute to get used to him, but I like him now. I think it's natural for Americans to relate to an American. UK people would feel the same.
Yeah.
If they were stealing a US show.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's a US show and it's a US or a UK show, a UK format. Like they're using UK producers. Like you kind of, I don't know.
But to that point though, right? It's like they've tried to make it American, and in doing so, that's why they initially had the American announcer. But I think what they needed is if they were going to truly make it an American version, was to find an American comedian who could do what Ian does, and they weren't able to do that.
Fair. I mean, definitely it would help, but it seems as though the audience in general isn't gravitating to the US version, because like, why do they keep on bringing all these UK people? Are they trying to get the UK audience to be invested in the seasons too?
It's interesting because this show isn't airing in the UK right now.
I think it's silly.
Yeah, and the Twitter is up in arms about it, let me tell you.
Well, because it's a paywall that most people are gonna have to go through to be able to watch it, and so like that kind of blows where they have like a lot of people from the UK that are on the season and they can't watch it for free.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they can't watch it for free, but not even only for free. If they had to pay for Peacock, I mean, there's no legal way for them to do it. They'd have to get a VPN, and even then, it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of work.
Nicole wants to know why they don't have Peacock in the UK. We don't even have Peacock in Canada.
No, exactly.
It's an American thing. So
yeah, talk to NBC.
Again. I mean, why don't they make everything more easy and accessible if they want ratings? I don't understand why we're locked out of other countries' television.
Well, I mean, it's a distribution thing, really. This is where my legal background comes in handy. No, but really, it's a matter of like rights, and whoever the broadcaster is usually the broadcaster will have like an exclusive window in their territory, and then to maximize the revenue, you need to sell that show to another distributor or broadcaster in the other territory. And whoever has the premiere window usually has something called a holdback, so that way they can, like, no one else can be showing it at the same time. Because of the idea is that if it is accessible in other territories at the same time, then there won't be as many eyes on their broadcast or their platform during that time, even though people are finding ways around it with VPNs, etc. Like the idea is that by locking it down for a distinct period before you release it to the rest of the world, you can maximize the revenue. So,
right. So it's like, it becomes more coveted. It's like, okay, well, like I know that this audience is going to be, you'll get an X amount of people watching it. So yes, if UK, whatever, ITV wants to pick it up, they can sell it for a certain amount of money. Okay.
Exactly. Because you're like, well, look at how well it did here. We had this many viewers, so you can jack up the price.
Yeah. I get it. It's annoying though.
It is, as a viewer. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like, well, like, let me pay. Or like, can't they track the data for out of country viewers? You know what I mean? Like, can that be part of
VPNs and things like that? I don't think that they can. I think that's part of
VPNs, but like, I don't know, like I would love to be able to buy a subscription to something, like my dad has a Cox account, so I do watch American TV on his account. But like, I don't know, I wish that there was a way for them to be able to allow other markets to be able to watch their television programming, and so they can still use it as part of their evidence, because I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's also like an infrastructure thing as well, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to launch it like in the territories. There's different rules and regulations in every different territory. Like, the FCC in the US that governs media does not apply in Canada, right? So like there's all of these different like legal loopholes that you would have to really contemplate and up in advance. And so that's why it's easier sometimes just to focus on one market first while you're sorting out all these other things, if you have to. Yeah.
So Nicole's wondering, why don't they do it like ITV does with Hulu for the UK version? Because like basically a day or two later they upload it onto Hulu. Is it just because it hasn't been purchased by Hulu or another? Yeah,
exactly. Well, and it's different because the reason why ITV can do it with Hulu is because ITV is a UK broadcaster that's not available in the US. NBC and Hulu are competitors, right? So it's like they're not gonna, like, NBC wants everyone to come to Peacock. They're not trying to share their stuff with Fox, who owns Hulu, and Disney, who owns Fox.
Got it. Yeah. So they just want this. They want to be able to sell this for a high price. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I see. Jerks. Oh my God. Thank you for the information.
Wow.
Here.
Finally, my job is relevant.
So good. So smart. So like interesting. So we're all getting ready. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the duel day. And in the morning we see Jack. He's really focusing. He's outside having his coffee, sitting on the steps, and he's just getting locked in. How are you feeling? Did you think
I mean, I'm gonna keep saying this. That was hot. Like when he was out there, I was like, okay, it's like the beginning was the 8 Mile. I was like, hear him listening to like lose yourself in his head. Like, like I'm ready. Mom's are sweaty, knees weak, mom's
spaghetti, mom's spaghetti. So then we see Aurelia chatting with Johnny, and he's so transparent, and I'm like, I feel bad that this girl is gonna
somebody pray for this girl, because what?
Oh my goodness. So like one of the first things that he says, he's like, are you athletic? I was like, man, Johnny just wants to win for sure.
Oh yeah.
She does say that she works out at the gym like 5 times a week, and he's like, oh, I work at the gym 5 times a week. So like that alone, he was very excited about her. And then she just does not have a read on this man. She thinks that he's so down to earth, and she feels that he looks older because he says he's 25 and she's 26. And he's like, I can see your soul. I was like, his soul's black. Like, what do you
Oh
mean
my
his
god,
soul?
girl. She needs to do some chakra cleansing, some third eye cleansing,
Maybe some
because
cord cutting, like
100% cord cutting, because I think what you're seeing is just maybe like some kind of like trauma bond. You're like, oh,
probably.
like this energy is familiar to me because
Yeah.
I'm used to toxic relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. That she think that maybe probably start off as something that she thinks is some crazy soulmate connection that's just super passionate, but really, yeah, just a toxicity.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would love to hear more because I work as a hypnotherapist at times, and so I do. I find it very interesting and fascinating to see if this is true. So I would love to have like a real interview with her where she would actually like divulge like some of her like past relationships to see if it is a trauma bond, to see if it is like a red flag and toxicity.
Right.
So Liberty and Callum are also working out together. He's training her and she's doing crunches and saying what she's going to do. And he's throwing the ball at her stomach.
That was such a cute moment. I love how he always preps her for challenges. Since Since the second episode when she had that first duel, he's always been doing that. And I love to see that.
Me too. It's a cute little segment between the two of them. So Mary, you're saying, I hope that she's just stoking Johnny's ego because he's low-hanging fruit and she needs an in. I mean, she needs an in. I just don't think she's that like.
Yeah, I would love if she is actually being calculated and that this is like her way of weaving in, because she's doing. If that is the case, I've never seen it done better.
She gets the Oscar this time, not
100%. But it to me does not feel like that. It feels like she genuinely likes that man, and I'm worried for her.
So Matthew is a co-host of Vying for the challenge and other messy things, and he's always here for the mess. So Matthew here is saying, "Love chaotic King Johnny."
I mean, he's giving us the entertainment, so I will give him that.
So underdogs on top is kind of what Liberty is saying here in her training session here with Callum. We go over to Mike, and Mike is nervous. And then Johnny kind of joins him and gives him a little bit of a pep talk. Do you think that the producers told Johnny to go talk to him? Because, like, are they friends?
I don't know. I mean, I can see them kind of bonding together. It does seem like the guys are, like, really, like, mates. They're always there for each other. So I'm sure that Johnny probably saw in that moment, like, Mike doesn't have anybody. So it felt organic to me.
Okay. Then Justine, your girl, joins Jack on the stairs.
Goes to stand by her man.
She's like, it's like, this can't be our last morning together. And like Justine is crying.
Then with their hoodies on as well, just like so upset. It's early morning. The sun is
heads down and just like focusing. Like, this can't be our
I love it. I'm here for this film.
I mean, do I need to write like a love story about like a reality TV show? That's kind of fun.
Absolutely.
It's kind of fun. So Liberty and Mitch are talking. Mitch hopes that Liberty wins. Do they know each other?
No, but I mean, I guess he's come in now for a day, or no, I guess it was last night. He came in last night, and I think she was one of the women that he kissed. So it seems like he likes blondes, and he's like, I want you to know that I want you to be here because your hair dye is why I like you.
Right? You're like, no, you dye your hair blonde, so I'm attracted to you. I like you. You're my type.
I think it's so funny when guys are like, oh, I love blondes. I'm like, that they paid for that, right?
It's very few natural blondes in the world.
But I guess it's a specific type of person who chooses to dye their hair blonde. So there's more to it than just the dye.
Danita doesn't understand why these women get so taken in by Johnny. Do y'all not see who he is? I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Aurelia really needs to have her chakras realigned because whatever she is picking up from Johnny is not a soul connection.
It's just horniness. Zeta wants Mike to win. She's kind of sitting and talking with him in soul ties. I mean, I can understand Zeta wanting Mike to win because, like, later on in the episodes, she could see that she really wants the chance for the Bombshells, and so Mike winning, it's more likely that he will work with her or the newer Bombshells. So I understood her wanting that for definitely.
It was hard, it's hard for the Bombshells coming in at this point and it not being a casa because you don't have an opportunity to really steal the focus and attention of the OGs, right? It's like you're just kind of an afterthought. You're here competing, and it's a lot harder to compete for someone's affection when the girl that they've been talking to since day one is sat over there, So I can see why she wants to spread a little chaos at this point.
I wonder how it would have been if they did this instead of it being 4 girls, 2 guys come in as Bombshells near the end. If they just did a damn casa more.
I mean, this would have been a perfect time to do a real casa. Like if they had ended it on this, we're vulnerable, and then without resolving that vulnerability, just doing a casa, and then you come back and you're all anxious. You're like don't know what's going on, and that would have been great. But I don't know. This season is too short, so
season's too short because it's over in like 3 days. Like I'm not sure, but it's over soon.
I think so. I think the finale is Monday.
Monday?
Yes.
Monday.
Yes.
Oh, 2 episodes?
Yes.
No.
That's what the Twitter streets are saying.
No, Twitter's wrong. X is wrong. It has to be. Okay. I need more. It can't be over in 2 days.
Right? But that's why they couldn't do a casa, because you have to do a casa for a minimum 3-4 days for it to be effective.
Oh no. That sucks. Oh my god. It just depressed me.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually got really emotional in this next moment when Justine was talking to the camera, how she's always been really unlucky in love, and that like she was kind of always wondering if it was her and if she doesn't deserve to have, the guy. Like she always is getting hurt and they're never getting chosen. And so she just thought it was so nice for her to be able to connect with Jack. And she just wants to have more time to be kind of reveling in this connection that she doesn't feel like she always gets the opportunity to have. So I can 100% like commiserate with this moment because I've felt that way many
I'm sure we all have, right? It's like you have bad luck in relationships, or you keep dating the same kind of person maybe before you kind of realize how you are contributing to it, and it just feels like what am I doing? Is this meant for me? So I can't even imagine the relief that she must be feeling to be finally like with someone where she like really feels a connection. They're on the same level. It feels so easy, but then also the fear of like, and now this man is about to go home.
So we get to the duel, and Maya Jama comes back again, and Jack is playing for Justine because he wants some more time with Justine, and like I didn't write them all down, but you might remember some of them. The chirping.
Oh, when he said he was trying to send Mike back to London Heathrow. Yeah, and I was like, okay, you called out the airport as well. Not Gatwick. He said you are going British Airways.
And then he's like, and Mike's like, that's big talk for a little man.
And I was like, okay, calm down, because you are like 2/3 the size of Jack.
All right, so what they're going to be doing is they're going to be blindfolded. They also have the helmet on. There's going to be a tag attached to each of their, on each of their hips on a belt. And they basically are going to have bells on their ankles and their wrists. And I think they had one on their legs, on their back as well. And they are going to try to rip off those tags off the belt. I thought this was a very, very good challenge.
It was good, but it's so funny to see the difference between the men and the women, like how they approached it.
Definitely, because the women do go first. Now, do you think it's fair that Jack and Mike were able to watch the girls go?
You know what? I think it probably did give them an advantage, or like a strategy of like, because you're learning from what the girls didn't do well. So was it fair? Probably not, but I mean, it's a different competition, so.
And also, they both got to watch, so it's like they both have the same advantage. So Jess versus Liberty, it's going to be out of 5. Jess wins round 1 and round 2.
She was quick with it too. I was surprised.
And I just was like, I wanted Liberty to win this, but like
Me too.
had such bad strategy. Like she just was kind of just going like this the whole time, and then she was on her knees going like this the whole time. But like she wasn't ever doing like a ripping motion.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's never like. So like even if she made contact with her, she just was like, you know what I mean? Instead of
I know she was like feeling around, like flailing, and there were a couple times I was like, Liberty, knock this girl over and just rip the badge off.
Right? Just like okay, it's just, like she has size on her, and that could also be maybe she was concerned with like maybe hurting her or how much she could.
I think that was it as well. She's just like a little, but I think it's her personality. She's just very timid. She's very like caring. She doesn't want to like kind of go full steam at anybody.
Yeah. And so I was really frustrated that she let her have 2 rounds. Then Liberty finally wins a round. So I was hoping that Liberty figured out the strategy here. But no, because the next round is a close call, but Jess does pull the tab first.
If I was the producers, I would have just said it was a tie and give Liberty another chance to go.
Right, and then because at least it'll be like dramatic.
Exactly.
But it was probably actually obvious from the other angles. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was like, obvious from the angle that I saw.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
no, but I just didn't want it to be true. I was cheering for Liberty so much. I wanted her to stay. Like, you know, Callum got an opportunity to stay and be with Deb, and Mitch is the only person so far that we have seen seriously express interest in her. And I was like, I wanted her to stay and have that time.
I know, but she couldn't beat Jess, unfortunately. And also, like, I think they said it was a close call, but I was like, close call / Jess won that, right?
like, because it was very obvious.
it was close, but it was an obvious Jess win. So I was saying, like, I really hope that Jack was watching and he learned some strategy because, like, man, was I stressed out. The way
I was screaming, my friends were over and neither of them watched Love Island. We were like hanging out, like having drinks, and I was like, sorry, the show is on. You need to shut up. I just turned it on. And so this is the first episode that they had ever watched, and I was screaming. Like, I was watching like
these men are just like going around like this, like animals, like caging themselves blindfolded with belts on. Like, why do you care?
No, literally, they're just like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like,
I'd love to have some reactions from your friends. I want to hear what they had to say.
Oh my God. I mean, they were into it. And so, because I talk about Love Island all the time, and these friends, they watch a lot of reality, but for whatever reason, Love Island is not a show that they've been able to get into. My friend, she always says that she hates that they're always just stuck in one location. Like, she likes when people, like, they go on and do like different activities or they have like competition. She's like, just them sitting in the beds all day isn't interesting to her. To me, the most interesting thing there possibly could be. But so watching this one episode, she's like, okay, I like whatever this version is. I'll watch this.
So Dina says, I wish that the Islanders helped Liberty a little bit more. I feel like we didn't hear them say anything during the girls' round. They were really quiet. Maybe they were told to be quiet because they're blindfolded. So like, I don't know, maybe they didn't want to appear.
But they were cheering. They were cheering so loud for Jack, right? And well, Jack and Mike.
Maybe because they like both Jess and Liberty. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was reading from it. I was reading that like they were stressed about whoever won, and they didn't want to cheer too loudly for either person.
So like, who would you be cheering for?
I would be cheering for Liberty.
I would be cheering for Liberty as well, but we're learning that like they really, really care about Jess. So
yeah. So I mean, but I was surprised that we didn't see Imani cheering for Liberty because that was her bestie in there.
It was her bestie, wasn't it? Huh? But nope. So Jack, like he was good. Like in the guys round, like I was nervous, but like I feel as though Mike, yes, he was coming with like kind of like the aggression, and he was like kind of puffing up his size. But I feel like he was intimidated by this challenge a little bit. Like I think the fact that he was blindfolded and he didn't have his full wherewithal or whereabouts or whatever. Like, I feel like he was a little bit timid and nervous and scared.
He was. I think he was until he got that first point. And then once he got that first point, you could see his confidence rise. He's like, okay, I can do this. I'm here. And then, okay, when he said, Justine, say goodbye, I was like, crazy. And I was like,
Jack's like, only win you're gonna get. This is the only win you're gonna get. Like,
just say goodbye is crazy. And the way that they all were like, whoa, because that's mental. I'm like, you think he's not going to come for you twice as hard now?
I mean, I think he just knew that he wanted to cause some havoc.
No, that was cinema. Like, the trash talk, everything. Like, that was a duel.
Jack wins round 3. And then round 4, Jack also wins, and Justine runs into that ring and gives him a hooju, which is a hug, jump, kiss. And like, it was so like girlfriend of like the boxer. And like,
I know. I was like, okay, Creed 4.
Oh my God. Is that the movie I'm going to make? It was so amazing. And like, she was just so happy that he won, and I loved every second of it.
That moment when she like jumps in his arms and they kiss and he's like, I told you. I was like, oh! I love it. They were so happy. That was such a good moment.
Yeah, that show was intense. It was so good. I really liked it.
It added so much drama.
Because like, they were being serious.
Oh yeah. They were dead ass.
So Mike is standing beside my Jama and same with Liberty, and he was basically saying like, I love everybody. This was an amazing experience. Like, so glad to meet you. And then he started crying, and I felt bad for him.
Yeah, because I was like, I wonder what about this experience was so different to his last one for him, that like made him so emotional.
Being on season 6.
I mean, I've seen.
I mean, maybe like he did have a relationship with Priscilla, but maybe like it didn't start off that great for him, if I remember correctly.
No, yeah, right? With Leanne was not feeling him basically from day 2.
Yeah, I don't specifically remember that season. It's kind of like my least favorite season out of them all.
But him and Priscilla were together for a long
2
time.
years, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know why he didn't enjoy it. No, we'll have to ask him one of these days. But he enjoyed this one way better, and he cries, and then we see Liberty saying goodbye to all the girls after. Oh my God, this was also sweet too. And she's like brushing her hair, and everyone's just like, we love you, Liberty. And she's just so okay with going.
Yeah.
I wish she wanted to stay more, and like she fought a little bit harder, because she brings, in my opinion, more than Jess brings.
Oh yeah.
And she's just more likable. So yeah, sad that Liberty's going to be going. So Liberty and Callum have a little goodbye chat, and that was also sad too, because like your little favorite couple over there having to say goodbye to each other because of their mistake as the power couple.
That was it was their mistake that led them there. And I mean, I loved that he pulled her aside to acknowledge like their journey together and how special their connection was. I also wish that he took that opportunity to realize that he loved her, but he did not. Just because even in the confessional, the way that he's talking about her, all the things that he's saying, I'm like, you love this woman.
TA here is like, hey ladies, I love when Justine had her rom-com movie moment jumping into the ring and kiss Jack. It was so good.
Amazing.
So good. Now, wasn't Mike interested in Liberty?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I was watching, I think, one of the recaps with Sally and Justine, and apparently Mike and Liberty were like pursuing something, but we never really saw a lot of that on the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they get an opportunity to, now that they're both
leaving together. Yeah.
UK. Mm-hmm. So on to episode 15. I'm like, oh, Jack loved Justine cheering and watching him. I mean, that would have felt good. And she's talking kind of like how you're talking about, like, you know, it was kind of sexy. You know?
It was sexy as hell. Yes, fight for me. Okay. If he doesn't literally physically fight for you, like, does he even care?
No.
Oh my God, sorry, not me reinforcing toxic masculinity.
Now, Eunice here wants to know if Jack actually likes Justine, or does he just like Justine to want to potentially win?
I am fully on the ship. They are in love, and that's all I have to say. Period.
I mean, listen, many relationships are going to break up in the end. Do I think that they are going to get married and start a family together? Maybe, but unlikely. Do they think that they'll date for a little bit? I do. And do I like them together? Yeah. I do. So I don't need them to get married.
Yeah. I think that the reason why so many people are questioning it is because we haven't really seen him say a lot about their relationship. But if we think about it, his actions are really showing more than anything that he's interested. Like, he has been coupled up with her the whole time. Like, has he really pulled anyone else for a chat? Like, has he like pursued anyone else? Like, I mean, it could just be that his strategy was like, go with the strongest woman and then stay to the end. But I mean, if you're following them on social media, you will see that they are living their life in LA.
Right? I'm trying to find, because I was just looking. I don't know whose social media it was. Maybe it was just,
I mean, yeah, it could have been Sally. It could have been Sally is pulling a Rucci and giving us the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Justine though. Oh, hold on.
Exactly. Yeah, she took him to a Lakers game. He's in town, and I mean, the show filmed beginning of September. Even if this is like press for the show, like, would you really be spending this much time with
someone that you don't care about or don't want to hang out with?
Exactly. Yeah. No,
so
I don't know if it's gonna be forever, but I love it for right now.
Yeah, exactly. So Courtney and Scott have a little bit of a chat, and he likes to go with banter, and Courtney doesn't really have banter. So
when he said that, and he was like, he was trying to pull the banter out of her, and she was just like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, Scott, go home. Go.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I like a person with banter, and like, absolutely, but like Courtney is not that girl.
Because she's the what, really? Thank you. Like, what do
I
you
have
mean?
to say though, now that some more people from her season are in the villa, like, she's speaking a little bit more on her voice.
Yeah.
It's not as high pitched and annoying.
No, I would love to watch an interview with her and just know more about her. Like, why do you sound like that? Like, or is this just how she's always sounded? Because I do have a friend who has a very high pitched, kind of like squeaky voice. And when I first met her, I was like, is she for real? And I'm like, that's just how she sounds. So
I think she puts it on, but I could be wrong.
It's all the extra giggling and the like touching your knee, like, oh, thank you, you're so sweet. It feels very performative.
Yeah. Like a little doll. So Courtney thinks that Johnny is just misunderstood. And I was like, okay.
Every single one of these girls thinks that the other woman who like
they're the crazy
reamed him out in front of their face, they were wrong. But I know him. He's just misunderstood.
Wow, did you think it was funny? Yeah, she thought it was funny when Jess was like calling him a snake or whatever.
Exactly. When he called her a snake, when she said in the fire pit in front of everybody, we were in bed cuddling. You told me you liked me, this, that, the other. Fuck you, you're a snake. And she said it was funny. And now look. What's the phrase? You lose him how you got him?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So Mitch and Zeta are chatting, and they're talking about them being two winners, and he fancies her, and she says that she would have kissed him, but she didn't want to kiss another bombshell. I think Mitch here is playing a game.
Oh, 100%.
And do you find him attractive? I don't find him attractive at all.
Because didn't he just say to Liberty that his type was blondes?
Oh, so she's like the complete opposite of blondes.
Exactly.
Complete opposite. We see Deb and Callum having their moment, and she's with the bug, and Callum's afraid of bugs, and then, she was something. She snorts. Okay. I've snorted a couple times. I get it. It can be like kind of cute and endearing, but I feel like she's performative when she does it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kiss, and I said it looked okay.
Yeah, it looked okay. It's like, it feels like they're forcing it to me. It feels like Callum is desperate for a romantic connection because he hasn't had one since he's been in there. And everyone is telling Deb that you guys are a good match. So they're both just kind of going with it. But it doesn't feel like, to me, it's not reading like either of them are really feeling it.
I agree. But then also, though, I find them both to be goofy. So maybe I just don't see them in like a sexual light. You know what I mean?
I saw it with him and Liberty.
Okay, it's true. More so than this.
We forget he kissed Liberty outside of a challenge in the first episode, and that kiss was more passionate than I feel like any of the kisses I saw from him for the rest of the season. Even Megan.
CJ wants to know how old Mitch is. I don't know. He seems older though. He looks like a 28, but I'm not sure.
But but he's Australian, and they do look older because of the hole in the ozone right over them. No, I'm dead serious. They look old.
Oh yeah, you live there. You did live there.
Yeah.
So what happened next? Okay, so then we see Johnny sticking it on Aurelia. Oh my god! And she's like, "I just been thinking about our other conversation." And she's like,
"Oh, Mitch is I think he's 25."
Oh my god!
Exactly. It's the hole in the ozone.
Wow.
They look old as
25.
He's 25.
Wow. Like Johnny, I do think looks older than 25, but he looks like a baby compared to Mitch. And they're the same age. Wow. Shocking. Even Tina looks like 30.
Well, Tina's 26.
26 is very young. Very, very young. So yeah, Johnny is saying, I've been thinking about our other conversations, and she's like, I love being right next to you, and that she feels like our souls have connected before. And I'm just like, girl, stop trying to convince yourself of this guy. What do you say?
I said, pray for Aurelia.
Praying. And then they kiss. I mean, their kisses are good. They're pretty like R-rated, I'd say.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that I think they're confusing for a real connection is they obviously have very intense sexual chemistry. 100%. I'm not denying that. But what have you said to each other than our souls are connected and I love being here with you right now? Like, have we seen them actually have a conversation that revolves around something other than how much they want to make out?
I don't know if Johnny can have those conversations.
No, because when
he's being serious.
No, I think you're dead right, because when he does have those conversations, or when people try to have those conversations with him, he starts rolling his eyes and acting like people like expressing how they feel is crazy.
Johnny, chaotic king, as Matthew calls him. So we see Deb talking about Callum, and callbacks about Deb to Jack. At the same time Caleb is talking about Deb to Jack, and so they both are interested in each other. So cool, get together then, do it. Selly kisses Al in bed, so they're all getting ready for bed, and then he's like, come on, Imani, right after. I thought it was so
he's like,
funny.
Your turn. I was like, that was really cute. I thought that was so funny.
I kind of have a crush on Al, even though
he's a sleeper hit, honestly. I feel like we're not giving him enough credit in these debriefs because he is so hot. He's been consistent, and he has a maturity. There's a maturity about him and Jack and Selly and Justine and their relationships with each other that we haven't seen in a Love Island yet, and it's so nice to see.
Well, I think it's because they're all a little bit older. Like what? Selly's 26, I think, and Justine's 30.
Yeah.
And then Jack is, I believe, 28. And Al is also 28. So they are on the higher end age-wise. And so that's probably why they're a little bit more mature in their relationship styles.
Yeah. But it's nice to see.
So it's nighttime, and Callum, did you notice that he gave Deb a sneaky kiss?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And this is when Justine and Jack sleep outside. Cuties.
I mean, what was it? I saw it on Twitter. They're like, is your ship really a ship if they don't go sleep outside at some point? And we were saying that earlier. Exactly. Like, 100%. If they're really about it, it doesn't matter who you're partnered with.
So in the morning, Deb brings Callum a coffee. I was like, okay. We see Mitch making eggs for Zeta, and like, okay, everybody's just laying it on thick.
But I felt like Mitch was making eggs for Zeta, like he was forced to make eggs for Zeta. Like, yeah. Mitch was cooking, and then Zeta was like, "Oh, are you making eggs?" And then he was like, okay."
Well, you know what? Get it, right? Like, Zeta asked the question, and Mitch feels obligated.
He could have said no, but I was just like, it didn't feel like he wanted to do it.
Well, I think it's because he's not a good cook, and he was worried that it wasn't going to taste good.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. I mean, he also doesn't like her, but
yeah, there's that.
So Aurelia tells Imani and Jess about Johnny and Johnny having those sneaky link kisses. I'm like, oh
the way I could see that they both immediately wanted to burst into like laughter.
It was like Johnny, we're worried about Johnny here. I'm like, come on, should have got the memo. Should have got the memo. And so, but she feels sorry for Courtney, and it's kind of like she just feels like, oh my God, I was able to get Johnny over Courtney, and a little bit of like she was the chosen girl.
This is how every single one of these girls that has interacted with them has felt. That's how Jess felt when she stole him from Liberty. That's how Courtney felt when she stole him from Jess. And like, I don't know, maybe this is something he's feeding into them, or maybe this is a need that they all have, is to be the chosen one, which is why they're all ignoring the obvious signs and red flags and thinking that their connection is more significant.
Well, and maybe this is how, like, he just has like a little radar that goes off on these type of insecure women in this way, that he knows, like, if I tell them that, like, if I show them that I'm so sexually attracted to them, they will just do anything that I want, basically. Like,
I mean, that's a lot of women, though. It's not just them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure every single woman that he's interacting with. Now, I wonder if with Nerys. Do you know who Nerys is?
Mm-hmm,
oh yeah, you watch.
Yeah. I watched that season of the challenge when they were looking up.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure that she was like into the sexual attraction part, and then realized he was a friggin' loser, and she was like, "Okay, deuces, like I'm done with you." But yeah, he was trying to play Nerys, and I'm like, Nerys can get any guy she wants. She's
exactly. It's like, you haven't seen Nerys's origin story. You think she's new to this. Nerys is another you.
Absolutely. So Johnny pulls Aurelia again. They go up to soul ties, and he says, "Do we still have a secret?" I'm like, the toxicity of this man. He is totally trying to build a little sneaky side relationship that's like, oh, it's gonna be hot because we're gonna be like kissing behind like scenes, and like then he's gonna get to keep Courtney, and like I'm just like, and it also will build their like sexual tension, right? Because like it's forbidden and toxic.
And she just straight lies to him and says yes, which I loved.
Yeah. And she's just like, oh, like our chemistry's so intense. And then they kiss. And this is while Courtney is talking to the girls about him, being like, I trust him. Like, I feel like we're good. We're okay. Like, you know, we just need to chat. And I'm like, your radar is a little bit off as well right now, Courtney. So then Johnny comes down and he's full on smirking. He's so bad.
I know. I think, was it Callum called it? It was like, what are you smirking about? He's like, oh, nothing. Like, didn't nobody or anybody notice that they were up in soul ties for like hours?
I have no idea why they didn't recognize it. I have no clue. So Jess and Tina now pulls Courtney to tell them what Aurelia was saying about her and Johnny. I was like, Jess is just so happy that she gets to just like spread how toxic Johnny is. And like, she's just, I think she feels vindicated, but like,
absolutely,
you shouldn't have gotten involved.
But how do you think Liberty felt?
Exactly. So after Courtney is told by them, she goes and she pulls Johnny, And she's like, I heard you've been busy. I'm like, oh boy. And he like the way that he doesn't give a reaction that's satisfying is so frustrating.
Yeah, no, I would have been pissed. I would have been more and more pissed because he has just like this look of like patronizing condescension on his face. He's like, well, I didn't get a chance to tell you. And it's like, you're focusing on the fact that like you just didn't say anything yet, and not the fact that you disrespected me, went behind my back, and like, or have been pretending like we are something. I gave you the opportunity to say something when we got into bed last night. You didn't tell me. And then he's just like, well, I don't know, I just didn't tell you. Like, I would have wanted to wring his throat.
I would have just like poked him in the eyes or something annoying. It's like, he's so annoying. Like, I was just like, my blood would be boiling. And he's like, well, I don't want to see you as a bad guy. And I'm like, Courtney, he is a bad guy. Like,
shut up. He is a bad guy.
And she's like, I feel so disrespected. And I love that it says it gives small dick energy.
It does.
Toxicity is, yeah. Small dick energy for sure. No, we haven't heard any rumors about this though, so I wonder.
Well, and I saw when she said that he had this little like smirk, like couldn't be me, and I was like, shut up. Like he just thinks so highly of himself. He thinks that he's the catch of the century, and that's why he can get away with this. Like the whole time he's sitting there smirking, you could tell he's just like, when is this going to be done so I can now go back and keep making out with Aurelia? Like, he was not fully present for that conversation. He did not give a shit. Like, I would have been so pissed if that was me sitting there trying to talk to him.
And the type of relationship that he cultivates is one that's just sexual, right? So, like, even when he was having his date with Courtney, he's just like, oh, I want to kiss you. Oh, I want to kiss you again. Like, anytime they start talking, oh, I always want to kiss you. Mm-hmm. And so with Aurelia as well, he just wants to kiss her, just wants to talk about, like, their connection and their chemistry, but, like, nothing in so far as a real relationship. Or what it would take to be in a real relationship.
Exactly. I hate that kind of man who is like deliberately obtuse about things. Like even with his conversation about Sally and their like breakup, right? Like I think he said something about like, oh, like it's just nachos. And it's like, it's clearly not about nachos. And you know that. You know it's not about nachos. And you're minimizing this to make me feel like I'm crazy. The gaslighting king, you know? He can take that crown. I will give him that crown.
So Zeta and Scott call Courtney over and she tells them about her conversation with Johnny. And then Zeta leaves and leaves Scott and Courtney together, and you know they have another conversation. Like they chat a little bit. I don't find Courtney's conversations good.
I mean, how could you? What is she giving us? But giggles.
But she's covered in sparkles. I do like a good shimmer, a good sparkle for sure. And so Scott wants some of these sparkles and to have them. Where do you want it? And he says his inner thigh.
When he said that, I was like, okay, I see your game, Scott. He's like, I want you to massage my inner thigh with whatever this bullshit is. And it was in that moment that I clocked what he's doing. He's just like, I am tired of this shit. I'm trying to get home, but if I'm going to be here, I will at least be fooling around with the hottest girl here.
Yep. So then Jess pulls Mitch and she wants his help to get Scott. I'm like, Jess, like you're always like a step too late. Like,
exactly.
If you wanted Scott, you should have been on Scott before Courtney got on Scott. Like, or he got on Courtney. Like, she needed to act faster, and she was too slow. But Mitch does decide to help her out because they're friends from their season of Love Island, Australia. And so Mitch takes Courtney for a chat, and then Jess takes Scott for a chat. So the Jess and Scott conversation, he wants to go with someone that's connected in the villa. So she's like, well, I'm friends with everybody in here. Everybody likes me. And I'm like, I don't know if you're the person that I'm thinking of with being connected here in the villa.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was right that like her and Ray and Imani had a good connection, but as we will soon see, they are not the most connected in the villa or as connected as they thought.
Uh-oh. CJ says there's no chemistry between Scott and Courtney, in my opinion. Go home, Scott.
Yes, go home, Scott.
Ms. Love here says, I think that Courtney hit the nail on the head when she said that he is insecure. I mean, we know that he's insecure. He needs to feel like everyone wants him to feed his ego. But that's kind of her thing, too.
Exactly. I mean, that's why they each keep gravitating towards the same kind of dynamic, because there's some hole in both of their souls that they are filling by this physical attraction, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, look, I'm being validated because he thinks now he's like the big man, like women want him, and equally she's like all these hot guys are attracted to me, and like look how much they want me sexually. It's like, well, yeah, but you're not getting to the core of who either of you are
at all. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I do like watching these shows, is because there's a lot more going on that I find fascinating about the human beings, human condition, like the social dynamics between individuals. Like, I just find it all so interesting.
Yeah.
I consider myself a social anthropologist because like I need to.
Agreed. I have said that before.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've literally said that before. And because I love watching these things. I love like exactly dissecting what is happening here. And it's like both of you people have some kind of like childhood wound that you are filling with like affection and attention from the opposite sex. And sexually, exactly. And you're just wreaking havoc like around so many people, and nothing is actually being healed.
Absolutely. And it's just like masking something, and it's just like the wound is getting bigger the more you mask it, I feel.
Exactly.
Because like then they get in these toxic relationships with someone that's like that's not good for their actual soul and their growth. And so it just keeps on perpetuating the problem, and then probably more plastic surgery or more toxic partners. And like, they both need to see somebody.
They need to go to therapy. Call the lady.
I mean, I would love to be a hypnotherapist for reality stars.
You need to reach out to production. You're like, I have some suggestions.
Like, even like with some people that are afraid of like heights and stuff like that on the challenge, I'm like, I would love to just like help them through that, you know? But like just for my own fascination of like how people become the people that they are, like I would love to. I mean, obviously I wouldn't share any of my findings, but like for me it would be very, very, very fascinating.
I'd read a research paper on that.
Oh my God, I would write one.
I'd love it. Please write an academic paper on this. I would actually read that.
It's so, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I would want to go back to school, is so like I could write a paper about some of this stuff, because I think it's really, really awesome in the way that like I enjoy. So Mitch thinks Courtney is fit, but Zeta is better for challenges. And I was like, that also pisses me off. Like, I know that he wants to win and that he's there to win, but it's kind of like he's basically saying like he doesn't find Zeta attractive, but he's going to go with her just to win the challenges. It's kind of annoying, because I think Zeta,
it absolutely is. But I also feel like I was annoyed when he said that, but I feel like him and Zeta are on the same kind of energy right now. I think that she's in there realizing that it's too late for a real romantic connection, so I need to be with someone who I can win with, and like I will play this like we're pretending to like each other game.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think Zeta knows her position here too.
Yeah.
So Mitch gets a text, and the boys are going to be picking, and the girl not choosing in this new recoupling will be dumped from the island. Vicious. So Tina is trying to strategize here. She wants to keep all the bombshells in the game. And like, I get that as well. I don't know why they need to dump a bombshell so quick. Like, I don't know. Do you think that's the last of the bombshells?
I think so. Yeah. Well, if what I'm hearing about the finale date is right, then I think it has to be.
Jess and Aurelia talk, and Jess is like trying to be subtle about like warning her about Aurelia or about Johnny, but she's just like, take note and proceed with caution. And like Aurelia is just like, you know, it's just,
she's like, our souls have been connected from another lifetime.
She's just so turned on by him that she's clouding her judgment. And so Johnny says, let's make the girls feel pretty and beautiful and special tonight when they do their speeches. And I was
when
like,
he said that, he meant Aurelia. He's like, the girls. Okay, sure. he's like, I need to sweeten my lies, to stick my hooks deeper
right?
into this new woman who knows nothing about me.
Poor woman. Yeah, knows nothing about her. That's probably why she's so like, ooh. And like, I can ghost her and like, it'd be very easy.
Yeah, she lives in Germany.
Like, I could just like not even give her my phone number and we're done.
Absolutely. Does she even know the country code to dial the US?
I mean, everybody knows +1, right?
Well, does he know Germany's?
No. Oh, no.
He can be like, I didn't know that you had a country code. Sorry, I couldn't call you.
I don't think that he's well traveled. Right? Because Hawaii is even that's America. So
exactly.
I don't think he'd know how to call her. So Mitch and Courtney are talking, and sorry, this is their recoupling speeches. Okay, so wait. Lying. So Mitch and Courtney are chatting and talking about like he fancies her, and this is all right before the recoupling ceremony. It's kind of like we're not sure who's gonna choose whom. So when I see Mitch and Courtney talking, I'm like, do you think he's gonna choose her? No, he's gonna choose Zeta. I think he's still gonna choose Zeta. Aurelia and Johnny are talking again, and you know he's just following his heart here, and it's just so crazy that like he wanted to come in here just for the games, but like he's following his heart.
Just now, all of a sudden, just as the games are almost over, I've fallen for someone. Okay.
Oh my god. Do you think that if it got to the end and if they have like a steal or share, he'll just steal it from her?
Yes. It's Johnny. Like I do not like, I have no faith in him. Whatever the worst possible thing that could happen is, Johnny's gonna do it.
Oh my god, he's gonna steal the money if he has a chance. I'm sick.
And finally sever their soul connection, and she will be free.
Oh my god. I mean, I kind of need it to happen, but like I don't want it to happen to her. Poor thing. Ray and Imani talks, and he's like, "Oh, you killed it in the challenges," and like she's just talking about how like she's the best, and she's great. She's gorgeous. She's really competitive and great. So I would be bigging her up too, Ray. Selly and Ayal are chatting, and like they're joking. If someone chooses you, I'm calling a duel. I'm like, Ayal's so cute.
He is really cute.
Justine and Jack chat, and he's joking. You know, I just want to keep it open just in case. And she's like, "No, we're closed."
Can you imagine though? If like he fully pulled a Johnny at this point, was like, "Surprise!"
I mean, no. I mean, I can't imagine that.
Not after the duel. After the way he was fighting, and like also how like obviously anxious he was, how like he was trying to hype himself up. Like you could see that he's really invested, or at least I could. So there's for me, if he actually meant that and like fully said like I want to be open at this point, I'd be like, I would be so confused. I would be on the floor, honestly.
I would probably leave. I'd just be like,
that would be the blind side of the century.
Yeah, that was awful. So Mitch and Zeta chat, and then he's going between his head and his heart. Is it him or her? And so and Courtney also chat, and Selly wants Jess to stay, and so this is all the preamble before we get a text, and Deb gets this text. Islanders need to go to the fire pit. It is a recoupling ceremony time. Ayal goes first and says, you know, I'm choosing this girl because she's the small and mighty Selly.
Ayal's speech was so good, and like everyone else's face, like I think there was a point where they panned to Mitch, and Mitch was like, "Oh, they're like in love," like, and then, like you could see on his face that he's realized, like, "Oh, like you guys are on a different show. Like I just got here, and I'm really playing the game, and like you are doing relationships."
Yeah, we're in relationships here at the same time as playing Love Island games.
Yeah, because Ayal's speech was long and it was so good.
So Jack, when he's talking about the nonstop laughter and seeing that smile on Justine, I teared up.
Right?
I did.
It's so beautiful.
It was really beautiful.
I love it.
I loved it too.
Oh, I love that. I'm a Pisces. She's a Pisces.
I And like, because like, you guys are like dreamy and imaginative and romantic, and like
Exactly.
these are the words that you want to hear as a Pisces for sure.
100%.
My MC is Pisces. Well, in Placidus, but I'm not a Pisces. My rising is Cancer, so maybe that's why I get emotional.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it was very sweet. Ray says she's my ride or die and chooses Imani. Callum likes the pig noises that she makes, chooses Deb.
I felt like that was very appropriate for the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, they do make sense. We'll see if they have a connection that grows like a little bit more, but they do make sense out of everybody that's left in the villa. Mitch says the conversation flows and they're super competitive. When they said super competitive, I was like, okay, it's definitely going to be Zeta. But like, she was kind of worried that it wasn't going to be her at one point.
I mean, that was surprising to me. Well, actually, you know what? No, I can understand why she would think that, because he very obviously is more attracted to Courtney.
Right.
So if you're playing like proper Love Island, I can see why he would have then chosen Courtney. But because it's clear there's a twist. Like, we're here for the game. So he's choosing Zeta. So
Johnny says, "Oh, she's super fine." I'm like, I don't even know what else he said. And then he changes, like, "Oh no, she's beautiful." Chooses Aurelia, of course.
Okay, everyone else's faces at the fire pit during his speech were taking me down. Like, when they panned to both to Jack and Eyal, like, look at each other being like, like, they were like, is this man for real? Because I was like, thank you. I'm glad that you guys are there also thinking, what the hell is he on? Because I'm at home like, what the hell is he on?
I love Eyal's facial expressions. He's always like like, he's so obvious. Like,
Johnny's been gagging Eyal every single episode.
And then Scott goes and thinks that they'll make a good team. Who did he choose?
He chose Courtney, and then
they kiss.
Tongued her down so violently. We haven't even seen the like more established couples kiss like that at a fire pit. I think even Callum said it. He's like lip sync at the fire pit is crazy, because it wasn't just the lips. It was like I'm like eating your head like a snake.
Oh my god! Like, yeah, why?
But I'm like, that's what Scott's looking for from Courtney, and it's very obvious to me. Like. Right. We said earlier when he was trying to get her to massage his thigh, he's like, okay, if I'm here for the third time around.
So. All right, so that was the end of episode 15. Do you want to stop here and then do episode 16 and jump to the finale, or how do you feel?
I mean, let's do this one, and then we can,
All right, perfect. So episode 16 is happening. Callum is Justine's, Callum is Justine's biggest competitor for Jack. What do I mean by that? What was happening?
Oh, because she was asking him, like, do I make you smile? Because he was
right. Okay, yeah. It was
he's like, yeah, it's between you and Callum.
Right, because they're his best friend and his girlfriend. And yes, they're another cute moment. Their flirting is working for me. I'm in.
Oh, absolutely. And we're seeing it much more like palpably in this episode. Like, I think immediately following that scene of them at the fire pit, then we see him in his confessional talking about how much he like is so excited to be back home with her. And then they have this cute little moment where they're like kissing in the kitchen, and I was like, okay.
When she's like walking with him, and then like he kind of pulls her into a kiss, like in transit. Like, okay, transit kisses are very coupley. So
absolutely, yeah.
I also love Eyal and Selly, who are kind of hanging out next, and he's just so grateful for what they've built so far, and she really likes him too. I like them together.
No, I loved that moment of seeing the two of them. Like, she was thanking him for the things that he said, and then he was like, yeah, you deserve to hear it. He's like, we don't say enough to people, like sometimes the things that they need to hear. And I was like, oh my god, you're so mature. I love this.
I'm like, where's my Eyal? I want an Eyal.
Yeah. We're gonna manifest it. Put it on the vision board.
You know what? I mean, I haven't actually put it on the vision board. I have it on a vision board like on my phone, but I don't see.
I also have a vision board on my phone. Oh my god! Not us being twins.
Look,
I love it.
But I don't see, like, it's a bigger board, and I don't see the relationship part. But like, I got to maybe move it around so I can be seeing that more often. So Zeta is impressed by Mitch being able to fake her out with his speech. But Mitch really just wants to win. And so they are on the same page in that regard. She wants to win. He wants to win. They do kiss. And then she grazed something that she wasn't intending on grazing.
Yes. I was you know what? As much as I don't think that either of them are actually really into the other person, I do like that they're both clearly like, we're here to win for the rest of however long we have here and also have some fun. And it seems like they're both like, fully aware that that's what's happening. And so I don't buy the affection or like the actual connection, but I'm glad that they can have a little makeout. Who doesn't love a little makeout, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, they're both very attractive people. I'm not interested in Mitch personally, but like, he's obviously a good looking guy.
Yeah. He's not my vibe at all.
So Courtney and Scott are cuddling, and I was just distracted by the gloves that she was wearing because it was part of her whole dress, and these gloves looked like she just like almost had like webbed fingers. And, like, it was just like stroking his face with these like baggy gloves on her fingers.
And they were like net as well, so I'm sure they were coarse as hell and like not actually nice to touch.
I was just like, who sponsored this one? Like Pretty Little Things,
House of CB, Boohoo, one of them. Like, come get your girl.
So I did not like the dress gloves on this one at all. Not a fan. Ray is talking to the boys about wanting to make Imani his girlfriend. And so he sets up a little plan, and the boys go upstairs and they get all the other islanders to go to kind of like the lookout area. And Ray goes and pulls Imani, and everyone goes upstairs to cheer for them. Different time. So she thinks that So she thinks that they're going to be something on the outside between the two of them. And so like they're having this
Imagine if she didn't.
Well, I think that if she didn't, then this would be like abort mission.
Exactly.
But they're all kind of looking like, oh, like they kiss. I'm like, is that the moment? Like no, you'll be able to tell for sure when it's the moment.
Of course, Johnny couldn't read the moment.
Like, yeah, he's
not surprised.
Like that's the only moment he gets. And so he really wants to take it there. And he's like, Esther's sure to be his girlfriend. She says yes. And she's super excited and hugs him and kisses him. And everybody is cheering. And once again, I teared up.
That was cute.
It was cute. Very cute. So in the nighttime here, we see Deb and Callum kissing in the nighttime. Johnny and Aurelia absolutely making out. I think that actually Johnny, Aurelia, Scott, and Courtney.
Okay, Scott and Courtney was wild. Because, sir, what are you doing that requires that much movement?
I don't know.
The way those covers were moved, I was like, okay, he is on a mission.
Yeah, he's definitely. I said that it looks like they're doing bits.
They were doing more than bits.
Scott. I mean, see, that's what I don't like though, is because like I think that Courtney's probably a sweet person, but because of what this exterior that she gives, and like, you know, even that the higher pitched voice, it doesn't to me exude super intelligence. And so it just like she ends up, I feel like, seemingly just like a fuck toy to people. Yeah. And like I don't like that is seemingly what she needs from people, and that people just give that to her. And like, I don't know. I know
exactly. She's being treated like a sex doll, but because men are very stupid,
very
right?
visual.
And exactly. And it's like, if that's what you're showing me, like, why am I gonna dive deeper to find out who you really are? The right person will. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
So Scott thought that he was on the UK season for a second. Yeah, they're a little bit more brazen with their undercover action. So in the morning, Johnny brings Aurelia a coffee or some sort of beverage. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, Johnny, you're really trying to pretend like you're this angel.
Oh, yes.
And then we see Johnny and AL setting up a date spot for Ray to have breakfast with Imani.
That was so cute.
It was cute. And so like they set it up and then they're sitting down there and they started kind of just like, I don't know, joking.
Mimicking.
Yeah, mimicking them. But then they start getting into game talk. And I was like, okay, get some game talk in, like being like, let's keep the 5 couples together. Let's just take out the bombshells. And I was like, I mean, I'm here for it. I'd rather Johnny stay than some of the other new couples, right?
Right? It's like the bombshells haven't had enough time for me to care about them.
Exactly. They can go. And like if they stole a spot of one of like my favorites, I would not be really like it would ruin the game for me. So hopefully they'll use this as an opportunity for next season to fix this, because if a bombshell comes in and screws up one of these good couples, it's not fun.
No.
Like it's not satisfying as a show. So Jack though wants to wait on them, and so he's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna wait on you guys, and like you guys go do this. And Ray's like, oh my god, like that's such a good idea. And I'm like, have you never watched the UK version? Like this is so standard.
Honestly, Jack saved that date. Like he elevated it to another level. He's like, no, I'm gonna bring her down, we're gonna cater to you. Like exactly, because what Ray was like gonna just be like, here's breakfast. Like I don't know, it doesn't have the same
on the stump. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So yes, he definitely does what okay, so Jack then goes and gets Imani and puts a blindfold on her. Like he carries her over down to Ray. Like he really goes to the end for this little relationship moment. I thought it was very sweet. And so yeah, so she walks over to Ray and then she sees a little place to sit down and she sits down, and then I think Ayala brings him some drinks over, and then Jack brings him the breakfast over. I thought it was a very, very nice moment of this new boyfriend and girlfriend couple.
Yeah, I mean, for Imani, like that must have been so special. Like, okay, I just got made into a girlfriend. You know, I've been with this guy this whole time, and then the first morning he does this special thing. Like that would have been amazing.
CJ is not into the boyfriend girlfriend proposals on Love Island.
I was excited to see it because like I don't think we've seen as many of them in the regular season of Love Island, like this past season or the one before. So, and like for me, they always felt like such a staple. So it was nice that we got to see at least one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it took away from this season. I was fine with it. I can see how it could be like, okay, this is not what the show's about, but it also is what the show's about. So I don't mind having one there.
Yeah, I think it's just harder to believe the romance side of it because of the games.
So short. Of the games, okay, yeah. So Justine and Jack are just watching Aurelia and Johnny making out.
This scene was so funny. The way that Jack was getting more and more aggravated. He's like, okay, no, they're just taking the piss.
Like literally say, like, get a room. Like
because have they spoken?
I don't think so.
Exactly.
No, like they really just like
he made her a smoothie, they kissed, they went outside, they kissed, they went to the pool, kept kissing.
I mean, we didn't even talk about the sneaky link kiss that they had one of these episodes where like
yes, in the little like whatever that little like side room was, and then Jack walked by.
He was just like I wanted to see if something was going to come from that. Him noticing them. This next moment was probably, I wish I could see more of it, or like a side by side, but was when Jack was making fun of AL's recoupling speech. Like I was on the floor because it was so AL. Like it was so him, and AL was like, he knew it was so him, and Sally was like, it's so you. But
I mean, that's how you know someone's really your friend, when they're roasting you like that. It's like only a good friend can do that, and you'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they definitely are close. Obviously, they were on their own season of Love Island together. I don't know if they've hung out since, but like they have that bond already, and like now their girls are best friends. Like, and so like they're good. And that moment was fucking funny, real funny. So Zeta gets a text, and it's going to be the Love Island Games Carnival of Carnage. Like, whoa.
Literally carnage.
Yeah, Love Island Games Carnage is what we'll call it. Hashtag foregone conclusion. 4 people going home after this carnival.
I thought that was also a funny hashtag, not just because of the 4 people going home, but because it had already been built up earlier in the episode that like Jack and Justine, Selly and the Owl, they are the top 4. So it's like those 4 have the power to decide whatever else happens.
Basically, but oh my god, this was really, really messy. So Johnny is strategizing with Aurelia, and she's like doesn't even know what she's talking about. Like, I think that she just doesn't care. She's like, whatever, sure. Scott and Courtney, Mitch and Zeta, they all want Jack and Justine. I'm like, this is where I kind of got pissed off with Zeta. Like, I know that they were coming in as bombshells and they're trying to do anything to stay in the game. So like, I get that it's gameplay, but like, I just wish they were playing it a different way. I don't know. Get in with those couples and like maybe take. I don't know. I don't know.
I see their point though, right? It's like there's no amount of getting in with these couples that's going to make them give us preference over AL and Selly. Like they're too tight. They need to be broken up if anyone else is going to have an opportunity to win.
Well, so then the foursome is also strategizing. I'm like, guys, like you're not. This isn't good that you guys are also strategizing because like people are gonna notice you guys are together talking right now. It just would make you more likely a target, but they still strategize. Ray and Imani are talking, and she doesn't trust the foursome, and she wants to be strategic. And so this is the first time that we're seeing her and Ray really not being on the same page with like how things are gonna go down. Like really, like it's happened a few times before softly, but I was like, this might be a problem for this couple. So we see Imani borrowing a top from Courtney.
The beginning of the end.
Like, why are they putting this in? Now we know.
Exactly.
We see Mitch telling Johnny to split the 4. And I was like, I thought it was pretty surprising that Johnny, like he told Johnny this. Did you think that Johnny was going to take it and like actually split the 4? Or do you think that Johnny was going to
stay with his alliance? I mean, I think he has very clear allegiances to the US, and especially, I mean, regardless of his history with Selly and Justine, like they came from the same season. They have a tight connection. So I think that he was never going to split them. I think that he is genuine when he says like, I want to see that like top 5 or whatever of them couples go as far as they can. And like the rest of it, I'm surprised that Mitch felt comfortable speaking to Johnny about it because it's obvious that he doesn't see that Johnny is, despite however Johnny is, a part of them.
Well, and also like, did not get the memo that like Johnny and Selly are exes. Like, even though they didn't leave on the best of terms, it does seem like he's still protecting her, and does seem like he still likes her and AL together. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. It was just surprising for me that he would be one of the people that he would go with this information to, because like he doesn't show me that he was like on the outs with them. You know?
No, not at all.
So Imani is going to show her loyalty. So this is when she's talking to the outliers, being like, I'm going to show you my loyalty tonight. I'm like, oh my God, Imani, are you going to mess this up? Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I got really nervous because I don't want.
She shouldn't have said that.
I know. So Johnny makes the 5, all the 5 of them shake each other's hands and look each other in the eye, or sticking together to the 5. And one thing though that I wondered if he was going to notice, Ray, was when he says just 4 of us, and then they're like, oh, they didn't see that Ray was there, like, oh, the 5 of us. Like, I was like, oh, that's.
I would have noticed that immediately, right? Because it's like, you didn't say the 4 of us plus Ray. You said the 4 of us thinking I wasn't in the room, and then you only changed when you realized I was there.
Well, I mean, I guess he still would be the 5, but he'd be out first out of the 5, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But
I guess
the fact that he wasn't even like thought in that moment
So when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. And now Imani wants to like prove her loyalty. And now he got this probably feeling excluded moment. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to turn on them? Like this, I'm nervous. I was nervous. So we get to the carnival, and the first one is going to be cornhole, where you can throw, I believe it was 5 bean bags each into the couple that you want to be out of the competition. And so basically whoever loses is going to be vulnerable. Yeesh.
This was where it all starts to go wrong. And like the tension immediately from the very beginning of this game, like once they start throwing the first bean bags and we start to see who they're targeting, like it was so visceral. Like oh my gosh, I've never seen anything this tense. Like this is the games. Like we're really seeing the effect of the games.
It was so good because like we see Callum telling Deb that they have to go for Courtney, and she's like, no, but Courtney's my best friend, and she's like, you have to, and like just seeing that struggle between the two of them. I was like, ooh, like Deb.
But also, why are you having that conversation on the bleachers when everyone is around? Why did you not have your strategic conversation before the game started?
Maybe he didn't realize that Courtney and Deb were close.
Yeah, I guess so.
And like he's not the smartest.
I mean, you know what? Hold on. Let me take that back. It's Callum.
Exactly. So Deb and Callum do go, and they say no hard feelings, but they go to Scott and Scott and Courtney. You can't say no hard feelings and then do something that's going to hurt someone's feelings. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly.
It's just a game.
You know what? I'm gonna be pissed at you. You made your choice. Like, it can't be just a game when my feelings are hurt. Like, you can say that, my feelings can still be hurt.
You have to do it with your chest. Like, this is who I chose. Sorry.
And Courtney was pissed.
Oh yeah,
of course. AL and Selly also choose Scott and Courtney. Jack and Justine, Scott and Courtney, and Ray and Imani. They do end up going for Scott and Courtney, and she went back on her word, and Courtney is not happy about this because she literally just said, I'm going to prove my loyalty, and then just goes back on her word.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why she did what, like, just then if you're going to throw it on someone else at this point. Or
exactly, because there's enough beanbags at that point on Scott and Courtney that they were already out. Like, you could have shown your loyalty and still been on the side of the alliance, but I guess in that moment she was torn between her allegiance to Ray and Ray's allegiance to everyone else, and her loyalties to the rest of them.
So Mitch and Zeta went to Aurealia's and Johnny's. Jack and Ayal's. Wait, Jack and did they do all of them?
I think they did.
Yeah, so Jack and Justine, and then Selly and Ayal. And I was like, is that just to make sure that they all know that you're pissed at them?
Yeah. I mean, they were fuming from the very beginning once they saw that Scott and Courtney were targeted, because they realized, they're like, oh, they're targeting the Bombshells. It's like, of course they are. Like, it's, they're OGs. They've been there together from the very beginning. Of course, they're going to pick off the newest people. Have you never watched the challenge? RIP to the rookies. Like, that's just how it goes.
It's how it goes. And it sucks. The Bombshells don't get, like, in a challenge like this. It isn't fair to people that don't have the numbers. I get it. But, like, if you were in the other position, you would do the same thing too, Zeta.
And that's why we see on the regular show, like, how important it is as a Bombshell to really break up couples and enter in and, like, latch onto an OG. Because if you're with an OG, you're less likely to be vulnerable. 2 Bombshells together, you might as well just say, send me home.
Exactly. I mean, unless they were just counting on the fact that, like, maybe they'd win a physical challenge as a duo, and able to have some power.
Yeah.
Then they can do something, but not with this particular game. This game is a numbers one.
Yeah.
Johnny and Aurelia, they're saying it's target practice. He's so cocky. It's so but her accuracy was pretty good from what I saw, and I was like, I was actually like I'm worried for her. Like, I don't want him to get mad at her if she's not good at something. You know?
Exactly. I know she did well. She held her own. It's enough to get another makeout.
And his arm around her shoulder, sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Scott and Courtney choose Jack and Justine. I was like, choosing.
Like, wow, you're really coming for the king and queen like that? That's bold. But I mean, I expected nothing less from Scott. Scott does not bow away from a challenge.
And he even says it out loud. He's like, well, you two need to be split up. I'm like, you guys need to be split up. So the foursome. I'm like, it's fine. It's true. But like, zip it, Scott.
I mean, this is his third go round. Do you think he cares?
No.
He's like, I came for the check. And if
like,
I'm not going to win this, I'm going to cause as much chaos as I can.
It's true.
He's always been the truth teller. That's what we loved him for.
It's true. Except for when I didn't like how he was clapping back at that recoupling ceremony. But other moments I did appreciate. So Scott and Courtney did 27 points, so they will be vulnerable in the next dumping. Then we're going to be bobbing for apples, and you're going to deposit the apples in the other people's baskets. Similar concepts of this cornhole, except more accuracy, because it's quite easy for everybody except for Deb to pick up an apple with their stem.
Everyone except for Deb.
Exactly. Except for Deb. So Johnny and Aurelia choose Zeta and Mitch. She starts fuming from the beginning. I'm like, didn't you just do them? You did do them, like Zeta. Exactly. So like, didn't you expect that to come back right away? I would think so.
It's just bad luck on their part, right? Like, as you said, if this had been a different kind of challenge where they could have competed and proved themselves, they would be in a different position. It's just really bad timing that this is the challenge that happened when they first come in.
Courtney and Scott choose Johnny and Aurelia. Justine and Jack chooses Zeta and Mitch. Ray and Imani. She wants to put it in Johnny's, and then it was just so, and he was putting it in Zeta and Mitch's, and like, it was really a bad look for her. If she was going to do that, she should have just said it from the first time around and not get like Courtney mad at her. Yeah. Like, and then now she's trying to like, oh, I'm going to spread it out evenly. So like, it won't even actually.
Now everyone's mad at you.
Right? Like, Imani, what are you doing? Yeah. Not strategic in this moment at all.
I think she just got caught up, you know? She got caught up and realized, like, what are we doing? I don't want to be a part of this, like, allegiance. And she just went rogue.
And then Courtney's just like, what are you doing? You effed me in my clothes. You're wearing my clothes. Like, well, you have nice clothes.
That, when she said, but you got a nice wardrobe, I was like, okay.
Like, she had no apologies in her.
No.
Zeta and Mitch choose Johnny and Aurelia for sure, obviously. Callum and Deb, and they're arguing about this again, and she's like, so like, doesn't want to be putting it in Zeta. Zeta's also her best friend, which we get, like, from her season. I get not wanting to do that, but it's Love Island Games. So she just decides to pretend that she can't get an apple, which also looks worse, because it looks like you won't stand up for yourself against your duo. And so you're not going to make anybody happy.
Yeah, she's like avoiding confrontation. She's trying to make everyone happy, but ultimately everyone's annoyed.
Of course. Zeta and Mitch get 44 apples, and so they're going to be vulnerable. Last one is pied off. First is, so basically, like, they have to toss I think it was bean bags through like either a 1 pie hole, 2 pie hole, or 3 pie hole. They big to medium to small sized holes. When Johnny and Aurelia go, and they both, I think, got none.
I'm surprised that so many of them had such bad aim. And I was like, those are really big holes.
Well, like, just aim for the top one, and at least
you're not that far away. Like,
I mean, I don't know if I'd be good at them or not, but I feel like I would be, but like, who knows? But yeah, Johnny and Aurelia got none. Imani and Ray got no pies. Justine and Jack, they get a pie each. And so they're like, we can't trust Imani. I'm like, oh my God. It's not good.
This is where it starts to just go crazy, because like, for Ray, he's been, really championing this alliance, being like, these are my friends. These are my friends. They're not going to turn on me. They're not going to turn on me. And then your friends, the first ones to get pies, and they turn on you.
But I understood, though, why, like, I mean, okay, we don't know if they would have turned on them if Imani
had been loyal for the whole time. Yeah. It's like Imani was what's the word? She'd gone rogue, like she was a wild card. they didn't like, we trust you, but your partner is her own person.
And I think that if Imani and Ray were a weaker couple, they would more likely keep them in the game, right?
Yeah.
But like, because of the fact that they are strong and she's going rogue, like, it's kind of like, ugh, like, I don't trust you as a duo, as a unit, because like, she might be able to get you to do something that you don't want to do.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
It sucks, but they're getting pied. Sorry. Eyal and Selly get some pies, and they choose Ray and Imani. Zeta and Mitch also choose Ray and Imani, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Especially because they were sitting there going back and forth, talking about how there's not really like a move to make now because they're already vulnerable, and like there had been so many pies that it was clear that, you know, Imani and Ray were going to be vulnerable, so they could have just taken the opportunity to pie someone that they wanted to, and I think that they should have done that, because Mitch was saying that him and Imani had been close, or like she had his back in some way, so I don't know why he would have taken that opportunity to then pied her.
Exactly. Oops. So Tia here is saying, I love Imani, but her going rogue and not listening to Ray's strategy was so intense. Yeah, it was just like the fact that it has to be such a fight. It just doesn't look good with people that are supposed to be protecting you. And then you can be like, see? And it's like, well, like it's a different scenario.
You gave them the ammunition.
Exactly. You made it easier for them to be able to be like, listen, I trust you, Ray, but I don't trust you, Imani. So
yeah.
It wasn't a good call on Imani's part. She might be right in the sense that they'll pick her off next, but like how she went about it, it just made her look disloyal, and that it went an easy way for them to take them out. Courtney and Scott, wait, pie me and get it on. Who's talking? Pie
oh, right, because Courtney had been talking about her wearing her clothes, and so then when Courtney and Scott win the pies, because Courtney surprisingly has the best aim out of all of them, has 2 pies to give out to 2 different couples, and then
okay, so Imani was saying pie me and get it on your clothes, and so she does pie her, and then does not the girl lick it back.
That was spicy. I like that. I was like, okay.
Was fuming because like, and she didn't even wipe it off. She was just so angry, and like it was pretty good drama because that's a nice reaction. Like, oh man, it was pretty spicy, pretty intense. And then Callum and Deb give Johnny and Aurelia a pie. I think it was just like a throwaway pie. So Imani and Ray got 5 points, meaning that they're going to be vulnerable. So the bottom 3 couples are going to be Imani and Ray, Zeta and Mitch, and Courtney and Scott. But everybody gets a stuffed animal. Isn't that so sweet at the fair? I love a stuffed animal at the fair, at the carnival.
I do. I love that. I love going to C&E, winning one of the whatever the hot item is of the year.
Yeah. And so Maya Jama shows up, and everybody still has pie all over them. I love that they just don't want them to wash their face or their hair. They just like them sitting in.
I know that pie stinks too.
Oh, like it's probably whipped cream, right? So it's just sticky and annoying.
Oh.
And so, so each of these stuffed animals we learn has a heart inside. So it's either going to be a pink heart or there's 1 gold heart. These producers are choosing violence. Do you think that
100%
was any sort of plan with who received which?
Apparently, I think they chose them. I was listening to what was it? It was, I think Deb had a debrief on TikTok, and so each of the couples, they chose their own stuffed animal. So it was in just like a pile of them. So it was completely by chance.
All right. Well, so if you have a pink heart, that means that it doesn't matter. But if you have the gold heart, you get to choose whether which couple you want to save. And I was like, man, and if you have it yourself, you can save yourself, obviously. So it's very worrisome if you don't get the thing when you're one of the 3 couples being vulnerable. So my Jama asked the 3 couples one at a time to reach in and grab out the heart. And all 3 vulnerable couples got a pink heart. And then they continue down the line, and Aurelia and Johnny pick, and they get a pink heart. And Deb and Callum get a pink heart. And now it's down to Justine and Jack and Selly.
And the way the two of them were like the whole time, like, I don't want it to be us. I don't want it to be us. Please don't let us have this heart. Please don't let us have this heart.
They do. Justine and Jack have the gold heart, and they have to go and deliberate and decide which one couple they are going to be saving. The other two couples are going to be dumped immediately.
Yeah.
So they're talking back and forth, and Justine's like, I can't, I have to save Ray. I have to save Ray. And even Selly thinks that Justine wants to save Ray. And Jack is like, they're too strong. They're too strong. They're too strong. Like, this is the violent games. Do you want to win? Do you want to win? And it seems at the end of it that Justine concedes, and they're going to, I don't know who they're going to save, but it's not going to be Ray and Imani. Do you think that this is a fake out, or do you think this is actually how it's going to go down, or what do you think they should do?
I think that they're saving Scott and Courtney because they think that Scott and Courtney aren't strong competitors, or at least they're going to be easy to pick off later, right? I think that Imani is a real threat, and the way that Ray was just like silently shedding those tears, like he knows it's over. Oh my god, we know that Ray loves to cry, but this time it really hurt my heart. I was like, because he knows, he's like, that's my homie, and like we're in this situation because like Imani wasn't sticking with the plan, and also as much as I think it's gonna hurt Justine to betray Ray, we forget that Jack lost all of his homies. Like, you know, Curtis left, Toby left, like Liberty left. Like, those were the people that he came in with, and he has relationships outside of the show. So, like, it's only, like, it's time now for Justine to have to sacrifice. And they had that conversation earlier in the day. It's like, they are the ones. Like, it's them. They have to put themselves first. And keeping them in will be a threat.
I know, but like, what if it's like a fake out though, and the producer's like, guys, sorry, you gotta keep Ray and Imani in here. Like, what if the producers step in? Yeah, we wouldn't do this, obviously.
If the producers step in, well, I mean, I guess we'll see. But I truly think that Justine and Jack are saving Courtney and Scott.
And I do agree. I don't think that they'll save Zeta and Mitch because they seem strong, and they also seem very anti.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've already said, we're trying to break you guys up. I mean, Scott said it too, but at least Scott said it to their face.
And yeah, I mean, I would be more worried about Mitch and Zeta.
In challenges, for sure.
100%. So Cole says, I don't think that they'll save Ray and Imani because if Imani gets a chance, she will get rid of Justine and Jack or Selly and Ayel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, she's been trying. She, for 2 or 3 of the votes, whenever Justine was vulnerable, she was advocating for either Liberty or Just to Stay. Like, she has, whenever Justine has been vulnerable, Imani has not been on the side of Team USA, and she didn't want to save Justine.
Danita says the camera also never panned to Justine while Jack was speaking, so I think she was crying too. Ray and Imani might be out. Yes, like he was like saying like oh my god, it was a pretty cinematic moment. Not gonna lie,
yeah.
Like, I mean, friendship and just
the drama of these last couple episodes has just been going up and up. Ever since the duel, I've just been like boom, boom, boom. My emotions.
Holy cow. Well, that's pretty much it for these last 4 episodes, the episodes for this week. Anything that we missed that we didn't talk about?
I think that's it. We covered it all.
Covered it all. Well, thank you for covering it all with me. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Even though we popped in here on an irregular time, you still came to hang out with us as we discuss this last week's episodes. Miss Mansa, do you have anything going on that you would like to share with the folks?
No, nothing at the moment, but we shall see. Watch this space.
Well, thanks again, chat. Please like this video. Let us know. Do you think that they're going to dump Ray and Imani? Do you think is there going to be a shakeup of some sort? Who do you want to win this season? And do you know when it actually ends? Do we really only have 2 episodes left? Like, I need more.
I want to double check that because the streets are saying Monday's the finale.
Oh, yeah, Monday's the finale. Then we'll have to do a recap if we can do it on Wednesday. I'm flying on Tuesday, so flying on Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But you guys are the best. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Miss Mansa. And we'll see you next week for hopefully it's not the final episodes, but if it is, we'll see you for that too.
I never want the show to end.
I don't either. Bye.